Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to the beautiful Flathead Valley in northwestern Montana. It is a hot Tuesday summer night, and it is the perfect weather for Pioneer League baseball. My name is Scott Gladstone, so excited to bring you tonight's contest between the 14 and 27 Glacier Range Riders and the 22 and 18 Billings Mustangs. This is sure to be a great contest. After last night, we had a victory for the Glacier Range Riders, a 7-1 win. All the scoring came in the first 4 innings. It was a solo home run by Jackson Raper. That was all she wrote for the offense for the Billings Mustangs. And for the Glacier Range Riders, it was 3 in the first inning by way of a 2-run home run by Brody Wofford and a home run by Ben McConnell of the solo variety. That gave them 3, and then an RBI double from Ryan Cash, a RBI ground out from Lynn Scott, and a sac fly from Wofford, who was probably the biggest offensive force because of those 2 runs brought in on the home run as well as the run brought in on the sacrifice fly. And then as well, there was another run tacked on to give the Range Riders the total of 7. It was an RBI infield single by Brant Broussard. A really good offensive performance, especially against a starter that's had the number of the Glacier Range Riders. Feel free to check out on all of the Glacier Range Riders' social media. You can see an interview with Brody Wofford intermixed with some highlights, including the solo home run by Ben McConnell, the 2-run home run by Wofford, his sac fly, as well as the final out, which was thrown by a man who made his debut. We have a possibility for a debut tonight for the Glacier Range Riders, as Quentin Longree will wear number 29, which was of some confusion before the game, whether he was wearing 29 or 32. We got it cleared up. He's on the field wearing 29. And the former USC Trojan, by way of the Missoula Paddleheads, where he started this year, is on the docket. He's on the docket in what can be described as a somewhat dreaded, as usually it is a dreaded situation when you have a bullpen day. The starter is Kevin Kyle. He was the first man out on the field, getting his mind ready for this start. He's from Georgia Gwinnett, and he is a man who had outlandish stats for the Grizzlies this year. And we will look forward to seeing how he does in the start. His numbers, he hasn't really settled down into kind of that flow that he wants to be in. Gotten touched up a couple times. That's led to an ERA of 15.75. On the other side, we have a professional debut for the Billings Mustangs. Kenny Surwa, a Chicago, Illinois native, who just finished up his collegiate season at the University of Dayton. The 24-year-old Flyer makes his way to Montana's Trailhead, Billings, Montana, and has completed the cross-state journey to the Flathead Valley, where he will pitch his first professional game here today. So hello to those of us joining from Chicago and the surrounding area, and wherever. If you're cheering on Kenny Surwa in his professional debut, he'll take the mound in the bottom of the first. But first, we'll see Kevin Kyle in his first professional start as well. He's had professional appearances where Kenny Surwa, he's brand spanking new on the scene. Should be a game where we just don't know what to expect because of the fact that there will not be, in theory, a 7-inning outing like we had last night from Glacier Range Riders starter Rob Hamby. We're about ready for the national anthem, so we will take a quick break to see the colors, and then we'll bring you some baseball live from Flathead Field. Don't go anywhere. It's game time. Right off of U.S. Highway 93 on the stretch of road between Kalispell and Whitefish, Montana. Just a stone's throw from the entire Flathead Valley. We have professional baseball once again here. My name's Scott Gladstone. So excited to bring you this contest. Let's go over the starting lineup for the Billings Mustangs. Cruz Taylor is the leadoff man again. Nagel bats second and DHs. Jalen Garcia, the Montana native, will play third and will bat third and play center field. Jackson Raper bats in the cleanup spot. Wirtz bats fifth. Klein sixth. Jackson, Threlfall, and Dennison are the bottom three. I already mentioned Kenny Surwa, the man that leads off the bottom of the first, pitching for the Billings Mustangs. Let's tell you a little bit about the man that takes the bump, Kevin Kyle. Kevin Kyle is originally from California, so the cross-country trek from Georgia Gwinnett is no stranger to him. Kevin Kyle is more than used to traversing the states for the sport that he loves to play. The 6'1", 210-pound right-hander has been a starter for most of his collegiate career. And at Glacier, he's been asked to be a little bit different, come out of the pen. He's come out of the pen 3 times, and that's just not what he's used to. And you could tell in terms of his mojo just that he was completely different. He's a jokester. He's a very fun guy. A lot of the team leads or looks to him as a leader. And today, just in general, it didn't really seem that. He was locked in, as a lot of starting pitchers get on their game day. Doesn't say a lot, tries to get mentally into that state. And here he looks back at center field, takes a deep breath, and turns to toe the rubber. Like I said, after the players got in uniforms, he was the first range rider to step out on the field. And he immediately, the first thing he did was go to center field and put his head against the wall and take a moment for himself to take it all in. His first professional start, and the first pitch is a ball low. Count is 1-0. 86 degrees here and sunny. It's a hot one in northwest Montana. 1-0. Swung on right back to him, and Kevin Kyle will be able to tuck that one and run about halfway to Brody Wofford over at first before making the flip for out number 1. A 1-3 ground out gets us underway. Cruz Taylor is retired. I'll tell you, the defensive alignment, Ramon Enriquez is the man catching the pitches from Kevin Kyle. Brian Williams, after making his pro debut, will start at third again. Brant Broussard is the shortstop. Ryan Cash at second base. Brody Wofford at first. Those three are very constant at those positions. Dean Miller's the left fielder. Ben McConnell will play in center, and Sam Lynn Scott is the man in the right field position. Now it's Aiden Nagel who's DHing today. Pitch is low and outside. Count goes to 1-0. This is a matchup that has, I can almost guarantee it happened already in this calendar year, with a Lewis and Clark State grad in Aiden Nagel, Santa Rosa, California native, and then the other California native in Kevin Kyle that played for Georgia Gwinnett. That one misses just barely as well. I actually got to double check the schedule. I know these are two NAIA powerhouse grads, but I don't know if they actually matched up. Both these teams were at the NAIA World Series, though. And we see 4 balls. All of them, from my off-kilter angle here, looked very close to being strikes. One of the closest 4-pitch walks that I've seen, where every single one was close. And I think Nick Hogan had a couple words. Kevin Kyle, you could see him kind of turn around in frustration. That is a good segue into our umpires today. Tony Prater is the man behind the plate. Will Stacy is over at first, and Michael Chuckerman, last night's home plate umpire, will ump at third. Jalen Garcia stepping in. First pitch there. Misses the zone, and right now Prater is being persistent in terms of not allowing those low pitches. I'm guessing he's saying low. They don't look like they're missing over the plate much. And 5 straight balls from Kevin Kyle. That one definitely missed inside. Can say confidently that one missed by the most. But Kevin Kyle, he's not a guy that is a walkaholic, you should say. In 52 innings pitched with Georgia Gwinnett this year, he threw 12 total walks. In his collegiate career, he's only thrown 41. And this season, despite his struggle, he's still only thrown 1. That was his second. And again, it's called a ball. And Ramon Enriquez walks the ball back part of the way. We've seen 7 straight balls, and Nick Hogan has already uncorked the mouthpiece and said a few things to our home plate umpire, I believe. 3-0. Green light for Jalen Garcia, and he swings and fouls it back. He's going to be frustrated with himself after not being able to tag that one, as Kevin Kyle clearly not wanting to throw an 8th straight ball. Tonight is a night we will talk about the Premier League standings, the Premier League. PBL, not the PL, the British Premier League. The PBL. As we got a rundown, Cash tags the runner. It is a 1-3-4 caught stealing as Nagel dead to rights, and that's exactly what we had last night, as there was a caught stealing. That one was a more orthodox 2-4 variety, but it's the same situation here, and I believe that was at Jalen Garcia's at bat where that happened. And it's early in the game, and it's just a runner on first, but it does change the momentum a little bit, as now there's 2 outs for Garcia. 3-1 comes in, and he fouls it back. Now it's 3-2. Kyle can get out of this by facing the minimum, just like Rob Hamby did, even though Rob Hamby last night in the first inning allowed a base runner as well. (3-2). 2 outs, base is empty. We're in the top of the first between the Billings Mustangs and the Glacier Range Riders. Kyle fires, and the breaking ball is nasty to get Jalen Garcia. Nice pitch there, and I believe Kevin Kyle's going to double check with the home plate umpire on the strike zone. But it ended up working out all the same. It's a called strike if the guy swings, and that's exactly what Kevin Kyle did to get the call there. It's 0-0 as Kyle faced the minimum. We head to the bottom of the first. It's a professional debut for Kenny Surwa. The kid from the University of Dayton, right-hander, will step in and fire his first professional pitch, and it is in there for a called strike. That feels like the first called strike we've seen. Maybe it is. After the calls did not go the way of Kevin Kyle. Surwa out of Chicago, Illinois. And the first pitch that is swung on is right to the second baseman, Klein, and Klein took a second as it got caught in the back of his glove. And the throw to first is successful anyway. And out number 3. Went to St. Patrick's High School in Chicago. Was an all-state selection as a shortstop, as a senior. And then he kind of jumped around the block a little bit, as many pitchers do. We'll talk a little bit more about Kevin Kyle's journey as a pitcher as well, jumping around. Eventually, after a year with St. Joseph's in Indiana, a D2 school, he found his home at SIU Edwardsville. First pitch of the at-bat to Ryan Cash misses low. Played 3 seasons in the Ohio Valley Conference at SIU Edwardsville. Then he moved to the American Conference, American Athletic Conference. So that one misses. Call's not going Surwa's way as well, so I guess it's consistent from Tony Prater there on that lower part of the zone. And then after going to the American Athletic Conference and playing for Central Florida for a year, it was a final collegiate season at the University of Dayton in the Atlantic 10. So he has been all over, kind of stuck to that Midwest area, except for the year at Central Florida. Also played in the Prospect League summer ball. That was the only summer ball experience he had playing for Lafayette. Called strike there. Count goes to 3-1, 1 out. Ryan Cash is up at the plate. I already said McConnell leads off. Linscott bats third. Wofford fourth after his home run yesterday. Dean Miller fifth. Eddie McCabe sixth. And Enriquez, Williams, and Broussard are the bottom 3. Surwa is going to get that one lifted into left field. And a little sliding catch there by Wirtz on the run. Looked like a slide tackle in soccer, the way he slid to catch that one. But a good jump on it, and a lace ball to him. Falls into the glove of Wirtz, and so Cash is out on the line out to left field. And the number 3 batter, Sam Linscott, steps in. First pitch to Linscott. Nice breaking ball that finds the zone. Count goes to 0-1. In that first inning, they made Kevin Kyle work in terms of pitch count, getting him up to 12, which is a fair amount when you face the minimum. Still works out as an average of only 4 per batter, and that's a little bit under where Kenny Surwa was through his 2. As he gets a swing and a miss, count goes to 0-2. He could get through this inning quicker. We had a quick contest last night as there was still a little bit of daylight when the final out was thrown. A 5-3 putout from Williams to Wofford after Tanner Solomon finished the game off. That one will miss just a little bit high. Count goes to 1-2. Defensive alignment before we end this inning. Threlfall is the catcher behind the plate. Raper's over at third. Dennison is the shortstop. Klein bats from second base. Jackson is the first baseman. The outfield from left to right is Wirtz, Garcia, and Taylor. That one misses the zone. Counts now even, 2-2. 2 outs in the bottom of the first, 0-0 between the Billings Mustangs and the Glacier Range Riders. Two misses low. Count goes full as it will be a longer inning for Kenny Surwa. Kevin Kyle threw 12, and Surwa's at 12 right now. So he will at least get to 13. The 3-2. Swung on and missed. So Surwa in his professional debut. First inning goes 1-2-3. Looked pretty good while doing it. We are through a quick first inning. We'll be right back for the second. Back here, we are in the top of the second inning. It is 0-0, as they say in soccer, between the Range Riders and the Billings Mustangs. Kevin Kyle out for his second inning of work. Going to be interesting to see how long he goes today. And that pitch finds the zone. I mentioned when he was coming off the mound at the end of the first inning, even though he faced the minimum, still the calls really weren't going his way, and smart pitching and good locations by him to get out of a possible sticky situation. One ball away from putting runners on first and second with one out. But was able to get the runner after a get-me-over pitch that made it 3-1, and then worked his way to get a full count strikeout. Foul ball makes it 1-2 here. It's Jackson Raper up. We're due to get Wirtz and Klein this inning as well. And Kevin Kyle sets and delivers. Up and away. Count is 2-2 now for Kevin Kyle. I mentioned the journeyman college career of Kenny Surwa, and it was the same thing for Kevin Kyle. As Kyle already mentioned, he's a California native out of Elk Grove, California. Started his collegiate career at San Joaquin Delta College. Ooh, that one just missed there. Fans disagreed. 3-2 now with no outs as Jackson Raper tries to work a leadoff walk. From San Joaquin Delta State College, he went to San Jose State, played in one collegiate season there, as it will be a walk to start this inning. And then, I already mentioned it, two seasons at Georgia Gwinnett where he has come from. And, I mean, I don't know how you define the numbers that he had at Georgia Gwinnett, especially this past year. 11 games, 9 starts, 52 innings pitched, 65 strikeouts to 12 walks, and a record of 6 wins and no losses. That's pretty good compared to last year, 2021 with Georgia Gwinnett, when he won a national championship with the Grizzlies. A 9-0 record for Kevin Kyle. Called strike to start off the at-bat with Gabe Wirtz. His total collegiate ERA, if you combine it with his year at San Jose State, where he pitched really well there. 4 appearances, had a 4.82 ERA. That one misses. 1-1 now for Wirtz. He had a collegiate career record of a collegiate career ERA of 3.37 and a win-loss record of 15-2. Finds the strike zone. Counts 1-2. In general, you already see a little bit more patience from Billings here. As just swinging at one pitch in that first at-bat was Jackson Raper. 1-2 now, as Wirtz yet to take the bat off his shoulder for the first time. Thought about it, called strike 3. Kevin Kyle able to get on the K board there. He's thrown 2 walks already, which is uncommon for him, and how his strikeout to walk ratio has been. So just working on getting on that right side of the balance. And that will surely help him. Now even at 2 strikeouts and 2 walks on the day for Kyle. The Californian sets. And we'll fire a pickoff attempt over to first. I mentioned it plenty of times yesterday, especially when the Billings Mustangs started off the game with a caught stealing, but it is a very big circle on the stat sheet as this one's hit over to third. Going to be a laced base hit right through the 56 hole, and that puts runners on first and second now with 1 out. Now the first baseman, Bryce Jackson, he had an off day yesterday, but he does have a lot of pop in his bat, the Frostburg State alum. Going back to what I was saying in general, don't expect the Mustangs to steal a lot of bases, especially because they're 0 for 2 in this series now against the Glacier Range Riders. They've only been caught 7 times, well now 8, But total stolen bases is less than a third of what the Glacier Range Riders had. The Range Riders are second in the league in stolen bases with 68 right now. However, you don't need stolen bases when the pitching staff is what it is for the Billings Mustangs. Jim Riggleman has acquired a heck of a group of arms, including Gene Correa, who recently signed with the Cincinnati Reds organization, the first departure of that core staff. Somebody that will be clearly missed, and although that's part of the game, you always feel a little personally hurt for your team when you lose a great arm like they did there. That pitch missed outside. Counts 1-1 for Jackson, the catcher. 1 out. Raper's on second. Klein's on first. I already mentioned Brian Williams and his debut last night. We have another guy that could make his debut. Hinted at him earlier. Quentin Longree. 6 years as a USC Trojan. That one swung on and missed. He was All Pac-12 honorable mention last season, and he started his professional career after taking last summer off from playing baseball, just training. And it worked out pretty well for him as he had a successful time in Missoula. They cut him anyway, and a swing and a miss there. 3 strikeouts now for Kevin Kyle. And a chance to get out of a little bit of a jam here with 2 on and 2 outs in the top of the second inning. Kevin Kyle, before this season, had only 1 post-high school experience with wood bats. And that's when he played in the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League for the St. Clair Green Giants. Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League mostly in Michigan. Pitch misses inside there. Count goes to 1-0 on Zach Threlfall. Threlfall, 2 outs, clutch situation here. And for him, a .300 batting average. This is only his 11th at-bat, 3 for 10 on the season. And does have 1 RBI to his name and a triple as well. I knocked the amount of stolen bases this squad has. As actually a balk was called there. Completely missed it as I was rummaging through my notes to tell you about Threlfall. So a balk, and the runners move up to second and third. Now a chance for even more RBIs as this one swung on a miss. Count goes even at 1-1. Did not see what Kyle did, but I did see after he didn't get that call, or what I thought he didn't get the ball called. I thought he was a little frustrated, more frustrated, seemed to be at least, than usual, but it was clearly because of the balk. As this is a wild pitch, gets away, there will be a play at plate, and that one bounced well off the backstop on the wild pitch, and it got back to Ramon Enriquez, and there was really a chance, but Enriquez kind of got caught in no man's land, thinking about whether he was going to flip it to Kyle covering home or whether he was going to run and try and make the tag himself, and neither option I don't think would have been quick enough. And a wild pitch scores the first run of the ballgame. Klein moves up to third. 1-0, the Billings Mustangs lead the Glacier Range Riders here. And that was a good snag. And apparently that was ball 4. I'm still confused about maybe there wasn't a balk called. Maybe it was just a true stolen base. As whatever happened, the runners moved up to second and third. And as Joe List discovered last year, there's a lot to look at when you're a broadcaster, and sometimes you look down a little bit too long and you miss something that seemingly becomes pretty important because a run now is scored off it. Runners on the corners in this 1-0 game. Mason Dennison at the plate. He fouls off the pitch back into the screen. Dennison playing shortstop today, the Naples, Florida man. Comes here by way of Kaiser University. And Nick Hogan is going to come out and have a conversation. I assume he's questioning what I'm questioning. And hopefully he is, because that makes me feel a lot less crazy. Because it seemed like if they called that first pitch a balk, then that ball wouldn't have counted. But then I think there was only 4 balls thrown to throw foul. And that's what the scoreboard had. That's what I had. Because it was what I thought a 1-0. No, okay, it's a balk. They move up. And then there was a ball thrown right after that. And then the wild pitch that scored a run. And then that other ball. That was snagged well by Ramon Enriquez. But only after the foul ball there do we get some question. As that one will miss. Count goes to 1-1. Ugh. One. Swing on a miss. One and two now is the count. 2 outs. Runner on third. And a runner on first as well. This pitch is fouled up and away. Count goes to 1-2 now. 2 outs. The lone run of the inning scored on a wild pitch. And Kevin Kyle will set to throw the 1-2. He will not throw the 1-2. He'll throw a pickoff attempt over to first, and it will be unsuccessful. That one scooted Mason Dennison off the plate as he was thinking about swinging at it, and then he basically turtled up there. Just made sure that didn't slap him right in the rib cage. Counts now 2-2, 2 outs. Runners on first and third. On the corners for Mason Dennison, the number 9 batter. The final Billings Mustang to step up for the first time today. Runners going. This one swung on and dribbled down the third base line. Brian Williams will be quick off his line to go up and grab that in foul territory. And Kevin Kyle's earned himself a mulligan on the 2-2. 26 pitch inning right now for Kevin Kyle, which is a heck of a lot of pitches for only allowing 1 run. The 2-2 with 2 outs, runners on the corners, 1-0 ball game here in the top of the second. The pitch swung on, hits right in front of the batter Dennison, and then back up and into his body. That means a foul ball. That means we do 2-2 again. 2 strike foul balls has been the key in this entire series between the Billings Mustangs and the Glacier Range Riders. Part of the reason why Billings took all 5 games in the Magic City. 0-5 record all-time in Billings and a 2-2 record between the teams when they play here. That means the all-time series, 2 wins for Glacier, 7 wins for Billings. That pitch misses. Count goes to 3-2. Full count pitch, runner at first will be going. He is going on the pitch, swung on, hit to second. Ryan Cash fields, Ryan Cash throws, and just beats out the scampering Mason Dennison for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the second. It's 1-0 after the wild pitch run scored by the Billings Mustangs. Back here, and it is Brody Wofford, the man who steps up to the plate. Kenny Surwa coming back out for his second inning of work. First pitch that he fires is swung on, and a foul ball makes it 0-1. 3 RBIs last night for Brody Wofford, as well as a 2-run homer the first time he stepped up to the plate. He bats clean up here, leading off the inning. Currently having a conundrum right now because I think our official scorekeeper, Brittany, is having the same short-circuiting of the brain that I was on that 3-ball walk. As that one is a called strike, count goes to 0-2. No outs here as Brody Wofford leads off the inning. They got a heavy shift on for him as Klein, the second baseman, plays in shallow right field. This one's hit over to first base where Jackson is there to field and runs over and taps first base for out number 1, unassisted by Jackson. Kenny Surwa, he has retired the first 4 batters he has seen, and now it's Dean Miller, the man that will step up to the plate. Draft pick by the Atlanta Braves as well as the Boston Red Sox. He went into the minor league system for the Red Sox. Played a few years there before taking his talents to indie ball here in northwest Montana. Pitch coming in. And it finds the strike zone. Surwa is just blowing up the black right now. When Serwa transferred from SIU Edwardsville to University of Central Florida, that was a huge transfer and foul ball. It was named by Baseball America when he transferred as one of the top 25 biggest impact transfers in college baseball when he jumped ship and headed to UCF. This season for Dayton, after he transferred once more to Ohio, he had a 5.68 ERA, a 4-6 record, 12 starts for the Flyers, and 56 strikeouts to 8 walks. I said he's blowing up the strike zone today. That is not a rarity for the right-hander from the Windy City. 1-1, 1 out. The pitch. Up high. Count goes now to 2-1. That pitch skips in the turf. Count goes to 3-1. And I'm going to get awfully close to the announcer's jinx here with Kenny Serwa. 8 walks all of his collegiate season. He has not thrown a professional walk. And right after I mention his control, he's behind 3-1. Something to look for. The Glacier Range Riders, when the opponent scores for first, only 4 wins for them. They're 4-18 when they score first. And right there, another batter will be retired. 3-1 ground out over to Jackson as he flips to Serwa for out number 2 here in the bottom of the second. Still nobody on. 5 up, 5 down in Serwa's professional debut. Eddie McCabe got most of the night off last night. Came in as a defensive replacement. Did not get an at-bat. The Connecticut native DHs today. And he prepares to see his first pitch from Kenny Serwa. It'll splash the zone. Count goes to 0-1. 2 outs here. Base is empty. 1-0. The Billings Mustangs lead the Glacier Range Riders. The shortstop Dennison plays on the fringe of the grass-colored turf out there in left, shallow left field. Literally the fringe of left field. There's a shift on from second and first as well, as Klein is hugging the second base bag and Jackson is playing well off the right field line. Thought about going, did not go, and it's a called strike. Count goes to 1-2. 1 strike away from buzzing through the first 2 innings of work for Kenny Serwa. 25th pitch of his outing upcoming. McCabe stays alive with the foul ball, gets into the netting. This is game 2 of a 7-game series between the Glacier Range Riders and the Billings Mustangs. Game 1 won last night 7-1 by the Glacier Range Riders. It almost has a feel of a MLB playoff series where you play a best of 7. We're guaranteed to get 7 though anyway. This one is going to be a chance, and it is. What a play there, as that one is rocketed to Jackson, the first baseman, who I said was pulled far off the right field line. It ricochets off Jackson. Klein comes up, fields it, and throws to Serwa, covering the bag. That is a 3-4-1 ground out. See something new every day, and it's 1-0 as we head to the third. We flip over the lineup card for the first time. We are in the top of the third inning. It's 1-0 in favor of the visiting Billings Mustangs. I mentioned a 7-game series. We're in game 2. A lot of baseball to be played. And the crowd doesn't like that ball called. Just kind of been little prickles in the side of the Range Rider faithful, it seemed. Balls and strikes right now. Nothing too insane to go wild for as this Range Riders crowd here. Good Tuesday night crowd here, but we are expecting a lot of people this weekend as it's a hustlin' bustlin' Flathead Valley. Called strike, count goes to 2-1 with no outs here in the top of the third. The Under the Big Sky Festival is being hosted in Whitefish, Montana over the weekend. Lots of people will be here for that, as well as just the hustle and bustle that the summer season brings to the Flathead Valley. Kevin Kyle took a long stare back at center field there and a deep breath in and out. 3-1 pitch coming in from Kyle to Cruz Taylor. And it'll skip in the dirt. And a 5-pitch walk puts Cruz Taylor aboard to start the top of the third. Aiden Nagel DHing today, and he walked his first time up. Nagel on the season, a .333 batting average. 2 doubles for him and 1 RBI. Kyle fires the first pitch into the zone, a called strike. Count goes to 0-1. Fans, I hope you stick around for one more inning. We are planning on interviewing Georgia State head baseball coach Brad Stromdahl in the 4th inning. We are excited to talk to him. He coached, strike there, count goes to 0-2. He coached Nick Hogan, the head coach of the Glacier Range Riders, in college. And that was when he was an assistant with Georgia State. Then he went to Georgia Gwinnett and had a marvelous career for the Grizzlies and overlapped with some of the players that you see on the field here for the Glacier Range Riders. Swung on and missed, a 3-pitch strikeout as Kevin Kyle responds well from the opening walk that he threw. Jalen Garcia, who's 0 for 1 today with strikeouts swinging, will step in now with a man on first and 1 out. I'll give you some of the backstory on kind of where Brad Stromdahl is at this point, just so I don't have to waste the interview time that we have telling him what he already knows, because he's lived clearly in that life that I will be telling you about right now. But he built Georgia Gwinnett into an NAIA powerhouse. As a called strike there, starts out the at-bat for Jalen Garcia. He's the 10th baseball coach in Georgia State history. Obviously, the first season he had at Georgia State was 2020, which was COVID-shortened. And that is an incredibly tough way to start off his career. But the first ever game that he had at Georgia State was a walk-off win over Cincinnati, which made it to the NCAA tournament the year before, and he has just had success after success since. And obviously his time at Georgia Gwinnett, it does not take an overnight experience to turn the Range Riders, or to turn a franchise like the Range Riders into a powerhouse. It takes long, hard work, and as a coach, man, there are some long nights, long bus rides, and there are some tough losses that you have to take along the way. So we'll be excited to talk to Brad Stromdahl coming up. Hope you stick around for that in the fourth inning before anything gets too spicy. 2-1, one out. Cruz Taylor still on first after walking. And this one's going to be put into shallow center field. A base hit from Jalen Garcia. He's aboard with one out. And Taylor moves up to second and stays there. Pioneer League standings right now, Missoula has a chance to clinch a playoff spot tonight. With a win over Great Falls, they will do just that. They got a 31-10 record. Great Falls is in second. They're the only team that can also win the first half pennant. They need to win every single game against the Paddleheads to do that. Billings, who we see right in front of us, is third, 8.5 games back of Missoula, which is out of reach of that first half crown. Idaho Falls just a half game back of Billings. And the Glacier Range Riders currently 14-27. They are ready for the halfway point because they get a reset of the record. First pitch misses the zone to Jackson Raper. Count goes to 1-0. Raper walked his first time up. One out, Taylor on second, Garcia on first. The South Division, a little less concerning to both of these two teams, and I'm sure the fans watching at home. Ogden is in first. They're 3 games up of Grand Junction. Northern Colorado's in third. Boise is in fourth. And the Rocky Mountain Vibes round out the squad. It'll just be a fielder's choice, as that one was hit slowly over to Brody Wofford, and he knew he wouldn't have a chance to try and make that a double play, but he did the smart thing and caught one of the runners ahead of the batter, Jackson Raper, and it goes down as a 3-6 fielder's choice for out number 2. Runners will be on the corners here with 2 outs in the top of the third. Kyle's got 55 pitches, and he throws his 56th in the zone for a strike. Count goes to 0-1. 2 outs here. Taylor on third, Raper on first. The lone run scored today was after a balk moved runners from first and second to second and third, and then a wild pitch that bounced off the backstop that Ramon Enriquez collected in time to possibly tag out the runner at home. But it's just never easy to make a play unless you get a really, really fortunate bounce. And the bounce went mostly his way, but Kyle couldn't get to the plate in time, and Ramon Enriquez couldn't figure out whether to throw it to Kyle or try and make the play himself. Swing and a miss. Count is 1-2 here. So because of that wild pitch being the only run, no RBIs yet for the Mustangs. Just the run scored on that, but nobody brought him home other than the arm of Kevin Kyle. 1-2. Swung on and missed. And the runners are stranded at the corners yet again. A second straight inning. Billings still holds the lead 1-0, but a chance for the Range Riders when they come up to bat in just a few moments. Back here in the bottom of the third, so far, Kenny Serwa has had a sparkling professional debut. He's seen 6 batters, and he has dealt with 6 batters. 6 for 6 is Kenny Serwa. He will see the bottom 3 in the lineup. They're guaranteed to step up to the plate. And first up, Ramon Enriquez. Williams will step up as well. Both Enriquez and Williams are looking for their first hits as Range Riders. Brant Broussard also will see the plate this inning. First pitch coming in as Enriquez squared to bunt, but that one was closer to his chin than his bat. Ball makes it 1-0. That one swung on by Enriquez. It's a slow roller over to short. And I say short because that was amongst a motley crew of infielders for the Billings Mustangs. Klein was heavily shaded over there. He was playing closer to shortstop as Dennison, the actual shortstop, was playing in the 56 hole. And he moves up and he makes that play. So goes down as a 6-3 putout. Brian Williams stepping in. Yesterday was his professional debut. Came up hitless in that time. Wasn't able to reach base either. And now Williams will swing on the first pitch. This is a slow roller to first. Fielded and flipped to the pitcher. 1 pitch, 1 out to Williams. And we got 2 gone in the bottom of the third. Up comes the spark plug, and this is the point where you need something that Brant Broussard can bring, or that he's been proven to bring this season for the Range Riders. Sometimes it has gone unsupported, but other times it has worked out fairly well for the Range Riders. First pitch to Broussard misses. Count goes to 1-0. Just 4 times this year have the Glacier Range Riders been trailing in a game and come back to win. Clearly a weakness for them as that pitch hits the zone. Count is 1-1 with 2 outs. Swung on another slow roller. This one's going to be dribbling foul. Picked up by Raper in foul territory. Count goes to 1-2 now. 2 outs, bottom of the third. One-two pitch upcoming to Brant Broussard. 2 outs, bases empty, as Kenny Serwa in his professional debut tries to get through the first 9 perfect. And it looks like he might do it. Hit over to second, fielded and thrown, and Kenny Serwa is cruising in his debut. 9 up, 9 down. We're right back at it in the 4th. We're back here in the top of the fourth inning. The Glacier Range Riders trailing the Billings Mustangs 1-0. We got a special guest in the booth, but first I'm going to say that there is a new pitcher, Quentin Longry, making his Glacier Range Rider debut. The left-hander grew up in Mission Viejo, California, had a 6-year career at the University of Southern California, played a few games for the Missoula Paddleheads this year before the Glacier Range Riders picked him up. And now I will introduce our special guest, and it's Brad Stromdahl, the current head coach at Georgia State University and former Georgia Gwinnett College head coach. Coach, first of all, thanks for joining us in the booth here, and glad to have you in the Flathead Valley.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful to be here, and just really happy to be able to, lay eyes on the new stadium and be able to just take this in. And it's really a truly immaculate, wonderful thing for the community and for the players that are out here, and it's just truly a wonderful, spectacular place to watch a baseball game.
And let's first talk about why you're here. How did you get involved with kind of the organization? Where's your connection come from to be here with the Range Riders?
Yeah, so back in, I think, 2006 and 2007, I was an assistant coach at Georgia State University, and was able to recruit Nick Hogan out of, I think he was in Blue Ridge, North Carolina, Flat Rock, North Carolina. And so, being able to go in there and have a relationship with Nick, and, we were able to win a regional or win a college or conference championship to go to a regional back in 2009. He was the leadoff hitter. We were talking about that this afternoon. And had a really, really good experience with Nick and kind of followed his career. Nick ended up being the director of operations for us as the subsequent 2010-2011 season went on. And so we became very close within our office and our organization, and just basically followed his career throughout the course of that. And there's some other instrumental people that have been in my life with Marty Kelly and the Kelly family, and Bobby Bennett and I actually took a flight out here. And so, just kind of seeing what everybody's doing out here in the Flathead Valley and being able to be a part of it from afar, and then kind of see it, come to fruition is something that's really cool for everybody involved with, from the onset of the initial thought of the baseball field here, and to see what it is today, it's incredible.
2-2 pitch is coming in right now to Jacob Klein to miss up and away. It's going to be 3-2 for Longry against Klein. And so obviously, let's start there with Nick Hogan. As a player, of course, I only get to talk about him as a manager, and I get to say some of the stats that he had. I believe he's up there in the record books in terms of hit by pitches as well as stolen bases. What as we get a swing and a miss strikeout to start off Longry's Range Rider debut, what made Nick special as a player? And hit by pitches, you can say there's a lot of luck involved, but you can also say there's some skill to that and some ability to stand in and take one. So what kind of made him different in his years that he spent at Georgia State?
He's just a hard-nosed kid. I mean, that's why we liked him so much. He was a left-handed hitter, and he stood on the plate, and he was a leadoff hitter, and he was a good hitter, but he wasn't a great hitter, but he was a great player because of the other attributes. And so when he got on first or second, he had the ability to steal, and he had the baseball IQ to be able to, just be able to understand the game and where it was going. But he's just tough, and I think that he brings that mentality here to the Range Riders, and just part of that mentality has to go into your team, and I think that's the defining quality of him, and that he helped us win a regional or go to a regional, and it's been in his DNA his whole life, and you just want people around you that compete well.
Yeah, Bryce Jackson has an 0-2 count right now. He's 0-1 with a strikeout as Longry tries to deal with the Frostburg State alum. We'll wait for the pitch here before I lob another question at you. Swung on and missed a 3-pitch strikeout for Longry. You've now coached at the NAIA level as well as the Division I level. This league is made up of all sorts of guys. Obviously, Nick has created a really good NAIA pipeline, tapping into powerhouses like Georgia Gwinnett. Yep. But then you find guys like Longry, who had a long 6-year career at University of Southern California, and now is here. What do you what do you see as the biggest difference, or at least kind of the definition between what makes a good player at the professional level, and how can so many guys that, for whatever reason went to different levels, quote unquote, of schools, that can now make it to this level and be successful? What do you think is that next gear needed for a player?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say. I've been able been fortunate to be able to coach at multiple different levels, and it's baseball, and so it's no different. Doesn't matter what level it is. It's if you compete well, and so the guys that are out here have done a good job of competing, and I think that professional baseball is a totally different monster than college baseball or high school baseball, simply because of the grind. You go on a 7, 8, 9, 10, 2-week road trip. They're all night games. You're kind of in and out of different places. You have to take care of your body. You have to eat right. You have to stay sharp. You have to stay focused. You have to stay healthy. There's so many different factors that go into it. And so the biggest one, though, is absolutely kind of what we were talking about with Nick earlier, is that how he approached the game was, I'm going to do anything to help my team win. And a lot of these guys obviously have aspirations of playing in the big leagues and, moving on to affiliated baseball. But, you have to compete and play where your feet are. And I think that that's the biggest part about competing at any level. And that's why it doesn't really matter if you're NAI, Division II, Division III, junior college, the highest level of Division I, is that if you compete as hard as you possibly can, mentally, physically, you're going to end up in a good place.
Yeah, and there's a guy right there that can compete pretty well, Ryan Cash. He fields that one and throws over to first for the third out of the inning after Threlfell earned the walk. We're going to take a quick break for the middle of the fourth inning. It's 1-0 Billings. We'll be right back with Brad Stromdahl in the bottom of the fourth. Back here in the bottom of the fourth inning, Scott Gladstone along Brad Stromdahl, the head coach of the Georgia State University Panthers baseball program. And, Coach, we talked about your relationship with Nick Hogan as a mentor to him as a coach when he was coming up and playing ball, and then, working on the Georgia State staff with him. But a numerous amount of these players, partially just because of kind of that recruiting circuit, because a lot of these guys are from that Southeast, and you tend to get to know guys here and there. But you also coached a fair amount of these guys that have connections to Georgia Gwinnett, which has been a huge pipeline for Nick Hogan and his staff. Let's first talk about Livingston Morris, who you coached for a year. I don't know how much you saw it, but he kind of is already a folk hero in the Range Riders organization, because he, against the Billings Mustangs, had a game-tying 2-run home run in the bottom of the ninth, and then a knockout round, that funky extra innings alternate that we had here. He won the game off a batting practice pitch from Nick Hogan after that. He's the guy that is built just as much like a football player as a baseball player. And what did you see in him when you recruited him, and kind of what is he like, and what was his development over your course of coaching him?
A lot of the same things you see today, just big and strong and physical, and wanted to compete. But when a kid hits the ball that hard, it makes a different sound. And I think that those are part of the things that you guys are seeing here in terms of becoming a cult hero and doing some really special things that a lot of people cannot do. And so his physical appearance and how he goes about his business at the plate is different than everybody else, and it makes it fun to watch. And he's a really fun player to have around, and he's a sweet kid. He really is. He's a nice human, and tries hard and does hard and goes hard and does everything that you want him to do as a baseball player. And so recruiting him, playing with him, he had some Magellan type routes out there when he was growing up and coming through our first year, and I was fortunate to take another job, but he continued on, and I think that he may be one of the players at Gwinnett. I don't know exactly, but he might have been to 3 World Series in a row. He may have been to 4 World Series in a row.
Yeah.
And so he's part of that pipeline there where we built the program all the way up, and then he was able to take it over with a lot of those other players to win the national title in 21. And so, I'm just so happy for those guys at Gwinnett to be able to go through that. And, Brody Wofford's another kid on the team that was on the year before. I think he was on the 17-18 team. That kind of just set the table for the run that they've been on.
Ben McConnell started off the inning with a ground out, 10 straight retired by Kenny Serwa. This pitcher's making his professional debut, and he has not allowed a base runner yet, which is, I'll say, a pretty good way to start your professional career. Ryan Cash up now. He's 0 for 1. He flied out to left field as we wait for the 0-1. Swung on, fouled back. It's now 0-2. You also know, or recruited or kept in touch with kind of the development of some of these pitchers that have come out of Georgia Gwinnett as well that are now with the Range Riders. Kevin Kyle was the starter tonight. Last night, Rob Hamby went 7 innings, and other than a solo home run, was marvelous. And he's a guy kind of like Livingston Morris, is an intimidating presence on the mound. 0-2 coming in here, skips in the dirt. Kind of what was your interaction with those two, as well as maybe a few other players here in like Gabe Howell, who came through Georgia Gwinnett as well, and kind of what's their mojo?
Yeah, they're good players. I mean, there's a reason why they're here, and there's a reason why they're helping this team win, and there's a reason why they went to the World Series for so many different years and so many different teams. And it's fun to be able to watch from afar. We recruited Gabe Howell, and then, I took another job to be able to see his progression and him to be able to continue to lead that team to the World Series, time and time again. And then, Hamby and, Kevin Kyle both coming in on the coattails and the foundation of what they did. But they also, cemented their name in that history. And, I see that there's a couple of Lewis and Clark State kids.
Yep.
There's just a lot of kids that I see that are on these rosters, for Billings, Cruz Taylor for the other team. He plays from Grayson High School, went to North Georgia. And so, the baseball world is very small. And I think that, having the opportunity to be able to play professional baseball is very special. And, there's a lot of good players across the country. And it's fun to have these guys out here. And, a lot of people know each other through another person, and be able to. That was close. You see that?
That was a little bit sketchy there.
That was a close one, but it's just fun to be able to see how baseball connects people. It's a connector, and the fans out here, they are able to kind of dive into the world of a baseball player for a day and be able to have fun and have a hot dog and have a beer and be able to watch these kids play, and it's a transcendent game from young to old.
It was Ryan Cash that flew out there. Cruz Taylor, who you were just talking about, almost collided with Jalen Garcia out there in that right center gap, but was able to come up. Now 11 straight retired to start off this game, and a first pitch strike there into an LC State Warrior, as you mentioned, another NAIA powerhouse. And Brad, looks like we're getting to the end of the inning here. It's been pretty quick, but before I let you go, I got to just ask you kind of, how can you, from your perspective, kind of summarize, you mentioned how awesome it is to be a professional baseball player, but there's also that grind, and you mentioned that and how that's such a big difference. But for these guys that are coming from Georgia and they're coming across the country, and maybe there's, their teammates listening or family listening that are trying to understand kind of what they're going through to come across the country, whether it's to go to school. Kevin Kyle's originally from California, and he came to Georgia Gwinnett. What is that life of a student athlete like or a student athlete and then a professional athlete, living with a host family? You're in kind of strange confines. What's the biggest advice, I guess, you have to people that are looking to kind of play baseball at a high level, whether it be collegiately or professionally, and how do they go about dealing with the day-to-day all the way to, just waking up every morning and loving the game?
Well, I think
there's a base hit.
There you go. We can finish the answer.
Yeah.
No, I think it goes back to a lot of things we talked about, but it can kind of go back to all. The question can be expanded, like the coaching part of it, and how do you move ahead in life or whatever you're doing. I think that go from a student athlete. Hopefully, here's Brody up. He's gonna hopefully hit a home run.
Yeah.
And then we can all celebrate. That'll be fun. But
yeah.
I think that we go through life and we're so scared to take the next step, or we're scared of what's ahead of us. And I think that being a student athlete and being able to even if you go to college in your hometown, it prepares you for the next level. Out here, you have to be independent. You have to not be scared of taking a risk of going and doing something that's special.
I don't think no one has it on it,
isn't it?
Yeah, go ahead and finish.
Please.
But
yeah, it's just it's something that you want to be able to do something that nobody else is doing, and you have to be independent. You have to have the growth and the confidence within yourself to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to bet on myself. I don't care if it's in Montana or Florida or Maine or in California. I'm going to say, I'm going to go there. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give it all I can do. And there's so many lessons you learn about being yourself and who you are through being away from other people that you're comfortable with. And I think that the best thing about being a professional athlete coming out here in this league is that it's unpredictable, and you have to dig down into who you are as a human and into your soul to define what you're going to become. And I think that, the guys that kind of get spit out and chewed up, they're just not strong from this standpoint. They might be really good people and all that those other things, but they're just not ready to take that step mentally and be independent. And I think that there's a lot that you find out about yourself from taking a leap of faith and betting on yourself. And I think that that's the thing that's hard. And I think that that's the thing that is also taught out here is that, you have to do it. You have to wake up every morning, go to the gym. You have to eat right. You have to, be a good person within your host family. You have to treat the organization right. You have to be a good steward of the fans and about what you've been given. And because you've been given a gift, I mean, there's a lot of people in the stands that would give anything to be able to play one game of professional baseball. But, not everybody is given that opportunity, and these kids are. And, you hope that they have the opportunity to take and give the most. And so when I look at a kid, I want the kid to show up early and stay late and do all the little things that, you think you should do when you're given an opportunity to be in this environment. And same thing with coaching. It goes back to coaching as well, where you have to take a risk and you can't be safe. And I think that, that's what Nick does really well is he competes within the confines of what he's been given from a baseball standpoint, and you have to work with your team. And it's just it's a fun life lesson, and it's a metaphor, but it's also, straight up, you have to understand who you are and what you're trying to do and your goal. And if you believe in your goal and you believe in yourself, you give it the best chance you can. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. You can sleep well at night.
We got Cruz Taylor up at the plate here. It's a 1-1 count. Maybe we'll just have you stick through this inning since you're already here. And I thought of another question in terms of obviously you're a mentor to Nick Hogan, and he looks at you probably for different things. When he got this job, take us through kind of his communication with you about, we talk about that leap of faith. I mean, sure. he moved his family across the country and spent a lot of his life in the Southeast and in Georgia. And that's a leap of faith for him. From your perspective and your discussions with him, why did he think that this was the best next move in his career? Yeah,
and I think that, when you do this and you do take this leap and this risk, if you will, with your family, and, move away from everything that you've ever known to something that's completely new and undeveloped. There's no field. There's just a plot of land with some trees, 8 months ago. And, you have to trust the people you're around, and the Kellys and Chris and Marty and Becky and everybody that's associated with us. I don't know all of their names, but, you're a part of building something. And I think that building something is something special. And that's what we always talked about. It's about it's not really like how do we build a team, but it's like how do we continue to, energize the community, energize what it is that we're trying to do as a coaching staff. Who are the good players? Do you kind of sell out for something that might not be great for the community or for the baseball team, or do you stick it to it's safe? And just a lot of those discussions around kind of the development of the initial year. And I think that building a stadium is super cool, and everything that goes into what you have right here. And I mean, there's a lot of people here, and it's fun to be a part of this. And so when Nick's down there in the dugout, he's competing in the game, but he's also understanding, hey, listen, this is part of something that I've built, and I've had my little name on this little piece of it, and everybody within this organization, from the construction guys. I mean, we were here this afternoon, and everybody's working hard, and I've talked to a number of guys throughout the course of the day and being around, and the construction workers have a sense of accountability too, and a sense of ownership with what's being built, and just being a part of this community, the Flathead Valley, and it's a fun thing. So we always talked in the beginning about the first one, is it cold? Is it Montana? It's what do we do? And then the next part is how do we build a better team, and how do we build a staff? What would you do with a staff? And a lot of those answers he knew. But it's always good to have that back and forth. And so, it's a risk. And in my career, I've spent the first 8 years kind of bouncing around from school to school and town to town. I was in Michigan, and I was in West Virginia. I was in North Carolina. You go to Georgia, you kind of bounce all the way. I was in Thunder Bay, Ontario. And so I think you have to take a bet on yourself. And I think that he was ready for that in his life, in that moment in his life. And I think that it's paid off in dividends here, just watching him be able to coach and being able to have my little piece of this too, with the conversations that I've had with some of the people around here, and and then also being able to send him good players. And I think that that's my contribution to what he's doing, because I believe in him, and I believe in the mission, and I believe in the people that are running this organization, and what we're doing and what they're doing. And that's why I'm here today. It's to support them and to say, hey, you know what, I believe in you, and I think that what you've done here is incredible, and I just want to be a part of that that one moment in history, and hopefully we can get this guy out in a double play and a 6-4-3 and score a couple of runs. But I think why we are in the game still is the relationships, and I think that's the most special part about looking at watching Brody and talking to Gabe and Livingston and watching those guys, and just sitting here talking with you and talking candidly about what we've done in our lives and how we've got to this point, and just fun to watch baseball, and fun to watch your friends, and fun to watch people that compete hard, and you just want them to win and do good.
Swung on a miss there, and not a double play like you predicted, but a strikeout there that puts out number one as Nagel goes down. Cruz Taylor, who you mentioned knowing and having some history with, he is the man that walked to lead off the inning. You also mentioned one of the first things, the weather. I'm not sure how much you heard about it, but it was 45 degrees and raining on opening night. So maybe your talk about weather, he said, well, at least by June it'll be nice right. and warm. And we're getting that warm weather here as it's gotten close to 90 degrees. But, 45-degree, rainy, snow in the mountains on opening night. That's unfortunately fairly on par for Montana as a swing and a miss there. Talk about, kind of from your perspective, it's professional ball, so it's not the same as college, but there is kind of a recruiting aspect to it of saying that, Nick Hogan has to sell that they have one of the best coaching staffs compared to other PBL teams. They have some of the best amenities. They have the best field. They have the best kind of setup for players to get what they want out of it, which is, in theory, for a lot of these guys to move on to the next level and play up. And that's something that I've talked about with Nick with about trying to get every stat changed that need to be changed. If that should have been a hit or whatever, let's look at it. Let's make sure, because every little percentage point matters for these guys. But in terms of convincing a player to come to the Range Riders rather than the Mustangs or the Paddleheads or whatever team it is, or maybe a different league altogether, another indie league, what has kind of been Nick's background? Obviously, he helped recruit for you guys at Georgia State, and he's done plenty of that. But how does that change compared from college to pro?
It goes back to what we were talking about earlier in last inning, is that it's the relationships. In anything, you can have all of the bells and the whistles, but you can have a reputation of being a good coach or a bad coach, or the front office isn't very good, or whatever you want, because all these kids know each other, and all these kids are on the same path, and they're doing the same thing. There's so many kids that kind of cross paths and play each other, and they're the best players on their teams, and that's the thing that connects them. And so they talk, and there's social media, and I think that what he's selling is all of those things. But I think the thing is going to continue to build within this organization specifically, and why they're going to do so much better in subsequent years is because they do have all of the amenities. They do have the facility. They do have the fan base. They do have, all of the do-haves. They have all the do-haves. And that is a special thing. And then I think they have a really good coaching staff. I don't know all of them down there, but I know the people that, I need to know. And they're really solid humans. And I think that the more that this is publicized, the more fans come out, the more that the players play here, the more that other teams come walking in with their cell phones out, taking pictures, and it's a reputation that everybody's going to have. And I think I think that this place can have a cult following. I really do. I think that this is one of the perfect places in the country, honestly, is because all of your activities, and the reason why you come to the Flathead Valley is to go look at nature and go walking and hiking and swimming and, all of whatever else you do out here, and not getting chased by a bear. But it's a fun experience, but there's not, the nightlife of, Vegas or, some of those other towns. And so what do you do at night? You're going to go to a baseball game. It's kid friendly. It's just a really perfect environment and a perfect matchup for the future of this organization and continual growth within player development, and all of the facilities that Marty and the people his people are building down here, down the left field line, down the right field line. For years to come, this is going to be a sustainable viable option for high school kids, high school players, travel ball. I'm sure that they'll do other events here, and for the valley and for the community, this is a really, really special thing to be able to have here, and it's cool to be able to watch it at its infant stage.
We had Jalen Garcia fly out to center. Now Jack Spraper is even in the count at 2-2 with 2 outs. Cruz Taylor still on first after that walk. Final kind of question. What is something that maybe the fans at home, whether they're parents of the players of the Range Riders or the Mustangs, or whether they're just fans watching from Billings or beyond, as a 2-2 swung on and missed, what is, for those that are looking to play college baseball, because you're a college baseball coach, what are 3 things that they need to do to become a better baseball player, a better athlete, a better human? Just summarize it into 3, and we'll take an inning break.
Oh man, obviously you have to have talent of some kind. You have to do one thing really well. It doesn't matter what that one thing is. You could run, you could hit, you could throw, you could, whatever. It doesn't matter. So you have to do one thing that's really good. Number 2 is there's always a place for you to play, no matter what. You may think you're a Division I player, but nobody's calling. That's okay. You could play Division II baseball, or you could play Division III baseball, or you could play junior college, or you can play, NAI. There's always a place to play, and I think that not playing Division I doesn't mean you're not a good baseball player, or not playing Division II, or whatever that is. And I think the third one is just go hard, play as hard as you possibly can, and it's pick up the trash that's on the field on your way out of the game, do good in school. get good grades, just be a good human. I think that if you just kind of pay attention to the little things in life, such as what you have control over, I think that those are the things that'll go the best.
Sounds good. Well, that is it for our interview with Brad Stromdahl, the head coach of Georgia State. And thank you so much, Brad, for joining us. And we will take a break now, and we'll see you in the bottom of the fifth, 1-0 Billings. We are back here in the bottom of the fifth. We were just joined by Brad Stromdahl. Hope the audio came across somewhat okay. We were just notified that it might have been a little bit sketchy, and hopefully you heard some of what Coach Stromdahl was saying. Talking a lot about just continuing to develop yourself as a player, as a person. Really cool to hear somebody who is coaching at the highest level of college baseball there with Division I Georgia State, but he's coached all over. He's been all over. It's a journeyman life as a player and as a coach, and we're so grateful to have him and mix up a little bit of the broadcast so it's not just me. Swing and a miss there from Dean Miller. Count is 1-1. Kenny Surwa still working. He allowed the base hit, so he lost the perfect game and the no-hitter to Sam Linscott, but Brody Wofford got out right after that, and still a shutout under his belt in his professional debut. That was pitch number 50 for Kenny Surwa. We did have a question roll in during that interview, and to the commenter under the username Hobbs8404Meow, it is completely okay to be here as a Mustangs fan. I'm the voice of the Range Riders technically, but I'm not going to hold that against you. We're here just trying to provide these games so that you can cheer on your team. So please, also, if you're sick of my voice, maybe you are, and I don't blame you because sometimes I get sick of my voice. Feel free to join in, as that one's a hit up the middle by Dean Miller. Base hit to start off this inning. Maybe something can get brewing. Like I was saying, feel free to Google ESPN Billings, and you can listen to Brennan Mentz, who is the radio broadcaster for the Billings Mustangs. If you're looking for a more Mustang-centric theme, or again, if you get sick and tired of my voice, feel free to throw that on. I won't blame you, but we're glad to have you here as well. We got over 120 of you watching currently. Eddie McCabe, the man at the plate, grounded out in his most recent time up. And a bunt foul from Eddie McCabe. Counts 0-1 after the foul ball. Kenny Surwa doing work. We'll tell you more in theory about Quentin Longery. Only kind of got to mention kind of the basic backstory from him. And again, sorry if there were any audio difficulties. Hopefully it wasn't too bad, and you can still at least kind of hear what Brad Stromdahl, the head coach of Georgia State, was saying. Foul ball. And I think on the follow-through, Eddie McCabe caught the catcher, Threlfell, a little bit. But the count's now 0-2 for Eddie McCabe versus Kenny Surwa. That pitch misses low. Count goes to 1-2. Eddie McCabe up at the plate, no outs, up against Kenny Surwa. Miller is at first. The 1-2 coming in to McCabe. Miller's running. He's going to try and swipe second, and that throw is lucky that it didn't get further than the one-hopping glove of Klein. As Dean Miller, I've said it before, he's a big guy, but he can move. A successful stolen base for Dean Miller. He's put himself in scoring position with no outs here in the bottom of the fifth. For Dean Miller, now 4 steals on the season for him, for the team that has the second most steals in the Pioneer League. 2-2 as that was a ball. Coming into Eddie McCabe. Late swing, protecting the plate, fouls it off. Count stays at 2-2. No outs here. Runner on second is Dean Miller. Plenty of wheels that you just saw from him. Almost an E2. That could have put Miller really close if it would have got through all the way. The 2-2 misses low. Now it's 3-2. Kenny Serwa, the first time a runner has got to scoring position on him. He has dazzled in his debut, but now we have warm-ups starting to go in the Billings Mustangs pen. Brian Pereira just finished putting on his warm-up gear to be the bullpen catcher. And a right-hander is throwing. 3-2, swung on, foul ball. McCabe stays alive. McCabe arrived like the current pitcher for the Glacier Range Riders. Quentin Longry arrived from a fellow PBL team. Longry came from the Paddleheads. McCabe came from the Great Falls Voyagers, where he had a really good start to his professional career. They traded away him for the first pick in the mid-season draft. There'll be a tryout in Boise, Idaho, later this month, I believe. 3-2, misses. Eddie McCabe will reach on a long at-bat that got him on with the walk. Ramon Enriquez. What a time this would be for his first hit as a Glacier Range Rider. We're going to have a conversation at the mound. We'll see if Riggleman takes the ball. It is Jim Riggleman out there. And right now he has not signaled to the pen. He has not taken the ball from Kenny Serwa. Already mentioned this is his professional debut. I've mentioned it plenty of times. And right now, Riggleman, you have to manage arm-wise, are you okay to keep going? But also, are you going to hurt us if you keep going? And he's just checking in with his pitcher, and his pitcher, Kenny Serwa, says, we're good. The infield stays in there to have a quick couple more words as Riggleman walks away. It will be Ramon Enriquez at the plate. Enriquez, standing 6'1", 225 pounds. Started this summer with the Tigres de Quintana Roo. I guess I should say El Tigres de Quintana Roo. The San Bruno, California native. It is all rookies in the catcher position for the Glacier Range Riders. And this rookie, Ramon Enriquez, looks for his first hit in the Pioneer League and as a Glacier Range Rider. Squares to bunt, pulls back. It's a called strike. That's what Eddie McCabe was looking for. And talking, one of the things, and again, I hope you could be able to hear this at some point. Maybe you were toggling with the volume on your computer, and I apologize for that. But one of the things that Brad Stromdahl mentioned about Nick Hogan is squares to bunt, and it will skip off the bat, and it goes to 0-2. So now the sacrifice bunt is pretty much out the window unless you want to get really risky and try and square on 0-2. If you foul that one off, you go down on strikes. Brad Stromdahl said that Nick Hogan was that hard-nosed type player. He was able to do what he could for his team, and that's the reason why you see right now asking of his team, first Eddie McCabe, now Ramon Enriquez, asking to try and see, hey, can you drop down a bunt? Can you drop down a sacrifice bunt? That's why he likes guys like Ben McConnell, Ryan Cash, Brant Broussard, who've really proven that they can do that. This one swung on, carrying to center field, and it will be caught by Jalen Garcia on the run. Worst case scenario for the Glacier Range Riders, as Garcia had plenty of a running start. He's got a good arm out there in center, and no chance that Miller is going to test him from shallow center field. And we have a pinch hitter warming up for Brian Williams. We'll see if this is a designated pinch hitter slot, where you see it in collegiate softball, high school softball, whatever, all the time, that the rule is similar to the one in the Pioneer League, where you could have a pinch hitter come in and they don't have to stay in the game. You can do that once a game, and that's what Nick Hogan and the Range Riders are doing right now. They're bringing in catcher Brenton Davis, another former Missoula paddlehead, Raymond, Nebraska native. Played his college ball at Bellevue University. That's where he finished it up, in Nebraska. And like I said, all the Range Riders players that play catcher are rookies. The left-hander, Davis, steps in. Warm-up's getting a bit more serious, but still pretty casual out there for Billings. They're trying to let Serwa work this one out. First pitch hits the zone on the outside edge. Called strike. Count is now 0-1. Leadoff batter Miller got aboard via the walk. He stole second. Then Eddie McCabe reached on a walk. Serwa does not walk a ton of batters. And today, or actually Miller, reached on a hit. And then McCabe reached on a walk. We got a step off the rubber there by Serwa. It's 2 hits to 2 hits right now. This is a defensive, we've seen some good defensive plays, but it's really more a pitching battle. 1-0 pitch coming, or 0-1 pitch coming in a 1-0 ball game here. Bottom of the 5th inning. Brenton Davis will see it. Another pickoff back to second, as Dennison catches a rifle from the pitcher Serwa, and he's lucky to just have that one in his glove. Miller on second, McCabe on first. 0-1 pitch, 1 out coming in to Brenton Davis. Swing and a miss. He was a little late on that one, and Serwa blew it by him. Count is now 0-2. Since putting 2 on with no outs, it has been 5 pitches thrown by Kenny Serwa. Might be the end of him if he gets through this inning, and he would be eligible for a win if he departs with a 1-0 lead. Brenton Davis about to see the 0-2. Swings on it. It's carrying out to right center field. Backing up is Cruz Taylor. He fields it, and the throw will come in cut off, and Dean Miller tags up. And now it's Brant Broussard. What just happened? The bases are now loaded. Brenton Davis reached. And for the second time today, I am stunned in terms of what is happening right now. McCabe went back to first. And all right, he went back to first, and then they let him go to second. So apparently there is 1 out. I don't know exactly what happened unless they called catcher's interference or something like that. Man, they are getting me today. 0-1, 1 out. Foul ball. Now it's 0-2. Jim Riggleman came out to question something that was going on. Some of the leagues get you a little bit closer to the field. And the problem is we got a split press box. So right now the umpires just referenced something to the other press box. And a swing and a miss there. And it doesn't seem to matter. At least the bases are still loaded. But now there is 2 outs. Brant Broussard not able to put it into play, which means a sacrifice will not do the trick. It needs to be a clutch at-bat from Ben McConnell here. Brad Stromdahl talked about how Nick Hogan was a player. I'm sure he sees a lot of what he wanted to do as a player in a player like Ben McConnell. Fast, willing to take a hit, and comes up with the hard-nosed plays when he needs to do it. First pitch misses low and away. Ball is 1-0. And it was a called catcher's interference. We have confirmation. That is what happened. And my booth is right next to Brennan Mentz, the broadcaster for the Billings Mustangs, and I actually could hear him just seeing the box score. And the official statistician put in that it was a catcher's interference, and he agrees with me. He also did not see the catcher's interference called. Counts 2-0 right now to Ben McConnell. Glad to know that I'm not the only crazy one again. You can listen to Brennan's call as well as mine. Swing and a miss. Maybe just listen to us both, and you can hear us both probably lose our mind up here in the booth when something weird happens. 2-1 is the count. 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning here. 1-0 Billings leads Glacier, but this is a huge point in the game. 2-1 pitch with the bases loaded. Speed on second in McCabe, and it's the pinch hitter Brenton Davis who reached on a catcher's interference at the plate. Called strike there. Crowd with some audible groans as they wanted that call to go their way. It looked like a strike to me. And now we do 2-2, 2 outs. The crowd getting a little bit loud, trying to cheer Ben McConnell across. 2-2. Swung on, foul ball, let's do it again. The crowd, that is the biggest reaction I think I've seen to a foul ball that we've seen. They didn't stop cheering. They were just glad he didn't punch out and trying to continually cheer him across. This Tuesday night crowd, bottom of the 5th, bases loaded. Kenny Surwa trying to finish out the 5th inning in his professional debut. Bases loaded, 2 outs, McConnell versus Surwa. The pitch. Misses. Not handled cleanly by the catcher. And we go full. That means runners will be going. 3-2, 2 outs. And the game can change a lot based on what happens on this next pitch. The crowd is really roaring here. 3-2. Coming in to McConnell. Runners going, a huge jump. This one will be popped up in the infield. Brenton Davis had a huge jump. He got all the way to third before that one came down, but it will be a pop out in the infield to end the inning, the contest between Surwa and McConnell. We still got 4 more innings to go. Don't go anywhere. It's still 1-0 as Surwa out of the jam on his 75th pitch of the day. We'll be right back for the 6th inning of work. Back here in the top of the 6th inning, it is 1-0. The Billings Mustangs lead the Glacier Range Riders. It is a tight contest here at Flathead Field. We got a new pitcher, but I still want to talk to you about Quentin Longery, who pitched a really good outing, despite the fact that both of the innings that he did pitch, we had our guest Brad Stromdahl on the broadcast, so didn't get to talk much about Quentin Longery, but 2 innings, no hits, no runs. He did walk 2, but he struck out 4, and, of course, the most important number, did not allow this game to get any further than the 1-0 contest that we are currently at. Quentin Longery, he was that 6-year player at USC, and clearly bleeding Trojan baseball through and through. The only wood bat experience he has is the summer of 2016 when he played for the Duluth Huskies. 16 appearances out of the pen in the Northwoods League. 2-0 record for him and a 1.69 ERA. So he has pretty good stats against the Lumber. And it will be a 4-pitch walk to start off Isaiah Henry's outing. Well, I'm sure have plenty more chances to talk about Longery throughout his stint as a Glacier Range Rider. And Isaiah Henry, we've talked about him a fair amount. He's a former outfielder turned pitcher. 6'3", 212 is what he's listed at. He most recently started this season with the Arizona Complex League. Well, actually, he started it with the Royals organization, finished his stint in the Royals organization with the ACL Royals. He's originally from Houston, Texas. And the first pitch is a swing and a miss from Jacob Klein. Wirtz reached on the 4-pitch walk. He's at first. Not a lot of stolen bases by this Billings Mustang squad. I've already told you that. And Gabe Wirtz has 1 steal and has been caught once. We are on the top of the 6th here. As that pitch misses low, count is now 1-1. Talking about that catcher's interference last inning, both myself and Brennan Mentz, the voice of the Billings Mustangs, had a little bit of a confab after that one as we get a swing and a miss there after that inning and saying, I did not see that catcher's interference at all. And, yeah, I think we were both paying attention to Dean Miller tagging up, and the fact is Dean Miller didn't have to race to third. He was going to be given a free ticket to third anyway because of the catcher's interference. That's what Eddie McCabe did. He was just able to scamper to second base after the umpire told him he could. 1-2 is swung on, fouled out into the kid zone area. It will be a souvenir very shortly when that kid zone is opened up. For now, the fence is still up, but I know there's a lot of little ones that are anxiously awaiting the chance to be able to play in the play place over there, as well as get all the foul balls that are coming that way. Soon enough, that concrete structure in right field also will have a party deck on top of it. And speaking of souvenirs to the kid zone, that one is going to be another one lost to the general admission area that has yet to open. 1-2, no outs. Wirtz at first. 1-0 Billings leads in the top of the 6th inning. Jacob Klein is 1 for 2 today. He has 1 of 5 total hits in this ballgame. Actually make it 4 because I incorrectly on my line scored that. Brenton Davis hit a single. That one is plastered out to left field. It's going to bounce once and get down off the wall. The green light is heading home. Brant Broussard will throw, and it is out at the plate. Brant Broussard from Ben McConnell. Ramon Enriquez with the tag, and what a relay to throw out the runner at home. Wirtz was going on contact. They knew that one would get down in the left center gap. And Brant Broussard, all 5'10" of him, turned that one in a complete 180 and just cranked it home. Ramon Enriquez grabbed that ball, and it took him to the perfect spot where he could grab and tag the diving Wirtz. The runner does advance to third base. It will go down as a double for Jacob Klein, but he doesn't get the crucial RBI. Now there's 1 out and a runner at third. Double and advance on the throw. Clearly the most important thing there, the throw out at home. 8-6-2 to throw out Wirtz. Klein advances on the throw. Just trying to recap what just happened for you. Even though we had the great defensive play there, the pitching coach for the Glacier Range Riders, Mike Spears, still going to try and come out and calm his pitcher, Isaiah Henry, down. Just have a couple words with him. Say, that ball was plastered pretty good. Make sure you avoid allowing that to happen again. I'm assuming that's what Henry's going to try and do. Now he matches up with Bryce Jackson. 0 for 2 today is Jackson. 2 strikeouts swinging for the D3 product. First pitch misses. Enriquez wanted the call as he spent a hot minute trying to frame it. Can't get the umpire to sway his way. Game 2 of a 7-game series. It's not a best-of-7 series. We're playing all 7. All games are 7:05 first pitch, including a 3:05 first pitch on Sunday. The one exception, foul ball. Infield is in right now as the count goes to 1-1. 1 out, runner on third. The Range Riders will do everything they can to prevent Klein from crossing the plate. Klein leads this Billings Mustang squad in average with a .423 batting average. Has not played the full year for the Range Riders. This is just his 20th start of the season. 1-1. Misses on the inside. Rocketed in there. Bryce Jackson flinched off the plate, but the crowd, obviously the best umpires in the park, all really wanted a striking call there. Umpires a lot like broadcasting. Sometimes it's easy to question and criticize, and sometimes it doesn't go your way. This one's hit over to Cash. Cash thought about throwing home, but he realized he just had to get the out because he had to go and dive for that one. It is an RBI ground out from Bryce Jackson. Klein scores. It's 2-0 in favor of the Billings Mustangs. They've created some separation here. Just one time this year, the Range Riders have been shut out. And the team that did it, well, it was the Billings Mustangs. Pitch misses to Threlfall, who is 0 for 0 with 2 walks. We got, looks like, pretty far along warm-ups going on, so this might be the end of Surwa in his professional debut. He is eligible for the win, and now he has 2 runs to play with, or his team does. I don't think he's coming back out, but for Surwa, what a debut for him. Biggest number is the goose egg on the scoreboard, and just the ability to flex, bend, and not break under pressure, especially in that last inning. Got the bases loaded with 1 out, and he was able to get out of it. That is a huge, mature moment for a rookie from Chicago. 2-1. About to come into the batter, Threlfall. That one misses inside, and Threlfall on the verge of reaching via the free pass for the 3rd time today. Not swinging has been his best option, and only 1 walk coming in today, but he's about to quadruple his walk count on the season. Not on that one. Swung on and missed. 3-2. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Swung on, foul ball. Threlfall is currently the option right now that you see launched forward by the Billings Mustangs as they're trying to find that number 2 to Brian Pereira. All season they've been looking for that number 2 catcher, and the Range Riders really have done that same thing, trying to find a number 2. Pitch misses outside. Threlfall with the hat trick of walks. And Threlfall, the LC State grad, will be on first with 2 outs. Warm-ups starting to get percolated in the bullpen right now, but I assume this is Isaiah Henry's game to or inning to continue to work with. Dennison is 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to second base both of his times up. 2-0 ball game here in the top of the sixth. Billings trying to give themselves some insurance. That one's a called strike. It wasn't in a much different spot than that called fourth ball on the last at-bat. But our home plate umpire, Tony Prater, liked that one a little bit more in terms of finding the zone. 0-1, 2 outs, runner on first. Swung on and missed. Dennison down to a knee. After coming up empty on that one, count is now 0-2. We encourage you to come out to any game that you can, whether you're from Billings. Heck, this is a great weekend. Come out, enjoy some Under the Big Sky music over in Whitefish, Montana, and then cap your night off with a game here at Flathead Field. Not a bad way to spend your day. Down to a knee, and a good snag by Ramon Enriquez behind the plate. Enticed about a quarter swing from Dennison, but he did not go all the way around, not even enough for an appeal. 1-2, 2 outs, runner on first, 2-0 here, top of the sixth. Dennison at the plate, Isaiah Henry, the pitcher, Houston, Texas native. A glance over at first, and Henry kicks and fires. Swung on, Henry fields, and he lobs over to first for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the sixth. 1 run added on the RBI ground out, and we are 2-0, bottom of the frame. We are here, bottom of the sixth inning, and it's a new pitcher. It is the end of the professional debut of Kenny Surwa, and what an outing it was. We'll tell you his final line in a moment, but first, let's meet the new man on the mound, Hunter DePrimo. First pitch swinging from Cash. Good carry on it, but it'll be Jalen Garcia camping under it and grabbing it for out number 1. Sam Linscott, 1 for 2 today. Linscott singled. And he is one of 2 hits by the Glacier Range Riders today. DePrimo is out of Mansfield University by way of Blairstown, New Jersey. Got kind of a sidewinder kick to him. Stands 6 foot, 200 pounds. That pitch goes high. Count is 2-0. I mentioned he is a Mansfield University product. He played 4 years. And he actually started this summer with the State College Spikes in the MLB Draft League. That pitch hits the zone against Sam Linscott. Count goes to 2-1. 1 out, base is empty. Just a 2-run ball game here in the bottom of the 6th. Very reachable for the Glacier Range Riders. In his collegiate career for Mansfield University, as that one misses. Count is 3-1. Collegiate career, 11 wins for him, 20 losses, a 4.31 ERA. Mostly was a starter. 37 starts, 44 total appearances, 3-1. Big swing and a miss from Sam Linscott. Count goes full, 3-2. Had a total of 1 career saves. 1 career save. It's not plural if it's 1. And he struck out 282 and walked 76. Foul ball as Linscott stays alive. Let's give you the final line for Kenny Surwa. What an outing it was. The only thing you can knock him for is the length he was out there, but that's, I'm sure, much more of a leash from Jim Riggleman. As a swing and a miss, puts 2 down in the bottom of the 6th. 3 hits allowed by Surwa. Actually 2. Correct that again. There was a catcher's interference that was not his fault. It goes down essentially the same as an error. No runs against, the biggest stat on the board. And the thing for Kenny Surwa, 2 strikeouts. That's not a ton in 5 innings, but 1 walk, and that was all that happened against him. And you take a look at that stat line. I'm sure Jim Riggleman, especially on a professional debut with lots more room to grow for Surwa, will take that any day out of the week. He retired his first 11 batters. That is another thing you will take any day of the week. A heck of a way to start off a contest, as the Billings Mustangs have eked across a couple runs. First on a wild pitch run scored, and then a RBI ground out when the infield was in, and it just was too difficult of a play for Ryan Cash to be able to make the throw home, so he had to flip to first. 2-0, this game still within reach. Take all the way for Brody Wofford. Doesn't even tense up his body and ready for the pitch. 3-1 now. Brody Wofford is a kid. Brad Stromdahl mentioned that he, knew Brody Wofford. He coached him for 1 year, and he is somebody who Nick Hogan has clearly said is a leader in the locker room. As that one's a called strike. Now 3-2, 2 outs, bases empty for Wofford. Worked it back from 3-0, has DePrimo. Wofford he's funny, he's charismatic, he's very personable in the locker room, and then you take him out, you talk a little bit more seriously with him, and he's a guy that can turn on that motor as well and be an incredibly nice guy. Not that he's not a nice guy in the locker room, it's just that very different teammate. I know you well. Laughing and having fun with these guys, which you need desperately on these summer rosters, because as Brad Stromdahl mentioned, it gets to be a grind out here, and you need a guy that can, you can count on to be able to flip the switch and be serious with you, be professional with you, but at the same time, when you're on a long bus ride or you're in the locker room after, a long losing streak or something like that, he can spin it and put a smile on your face, and I think for Wofford, the reason why Hogan has identified him as a leader is because he has that ability. First pitch coming into Dean Miller after Wofford works the full count walk. Pitch goes high. Dean Miller, right away as that one went by him, he shook his head. He looked right at the home plate umpire and shook his head. Said, nope, that was not a strike. And the home plate umpire, Tony Prater, agreed. 1-0, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Wofford's on first. That one definitely high. Doesn't need to shake his head at the home plate umpire there. It's 2-0. Isaiah Henry pitched the last inning for Glacier. We'll see if he returns. There was casual warm-ups going on in the pen last time I checked. 2-0, 2 outs. Dean Miller at the plate. He can plaster a ball if he makes contact. And he does just that. Plasters this one to right field. It's carrying, and it is over the wall. Speak it into existence. Dino Miller. An Oppo Taco home run. Goodbye, baseball. We are tied at Flathead Field. Brody Wofford works the full count. He's able to find a ball that allows him to reach. And then you just let Dino up there. Clearly, DePrimo trying to hone in on the upper part of the zone there. And that one, he leaked it a little bit too much into the hot zone for Dino Miller, who was late to it. But that one was rifled over the 16-foot wall in right field. The third home run in the last 2 days by the Glacier Range Riders over that right field wall. Swung on by McCabe. He just makes contact with it. Counts 0-2. And, man, that's the tough part about not being able to take advantage of the opportunities that Billings had. They had runners in scoring position. They had chances. And, you know, you can look at Glacier. They had the same exact thing. They had the bases loaded last inning with 1 out, and they weren't able to cash in on it. But they begin to look heavily and regret as that one is lifted into right field. Cruz Taylor has to make an adjustment, and he kind of runs a J route to that one. But he snags it for out number 3 in the bottom of the 6th. We are tied. Dino Miller, a home run. It's 2-2. We head to the 7th. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Flathead Field. Scott Gladstone here, bringing you this contest between the Glacier Range Riders and the Billings Mustangs. Thankful for all of you guys joining in from Billings to maybe the Flathead Valley to everywhere across the country and the globe. We got a great contest for you. We got 3 innings to play, the 7th, 8th, and the 9th, and we have a deadlocked score at 2 runs apiece. It is Cruz Taylor, the leadoff man for the Billings Mustangs, that leads off this inning. Walks have been a problem for the Glacier pitchers thus far, but they have prevented the control issues from staining them too much. First pitch misses. Count is 1-0. I'll kind of explain the discrepancy For the two pitchers that we saw for Billings, they didn't have a ton of control, but 64% strike percentage and a 55% strike percentage from DePrimo. That's what we've seen thus far. So that one will miss low. Count goes to 2-0. But it was 50% from Kyle, the starter, 55% from Longree in his 2 innings of work, and Isaiah Henry is under 50% after that ball misses. You want to be up and over 60, and that's where Searle was. That's the reason why he had 5 innings of shutout baseball. Part of the reason why, at least. Swing and a miss as Cruz Taylor tried to expect a 2-0 pitch to be right in his sweet spot, and unfortunately it drops off the shelf, and Cruz Taylor comes up empty. Count is 2-1. No outs, bases empty. We are at the beginning of the 7th inning here at Flathead Field. Game 2 of a 7-game stand between the Range Riders and the Mustangs. That one's plastered back. If there wasn't a screen, it would have gone right into my window here. 2-2 now with no outs. Earlier in the broadcast, I mentioned the Pioneer League standings. Missoula, with a win tonight, clinches the first half crown. They clinch one of 2 playoff spots that will be handed out by the end of the week. 2-1, 2-2, swing and a miss. And that's a big difference because a 2-1 swing and a miss means it's 2-2. A 2-2 swing and a miss means it's strike 3 and out number 1. Of note, Justin Mazzone also has entered the game at catcher. He replaces Ramon Enriquez. And Aiden Nagel, who's 0 for 2, steps in a walk and 2 strikeouts for Nagel. Real quick go over the lineup. Missoula with a magic number being 1. They win tonight. They're in. Great Falls is in 2nd place, 6 games back of Missoula. Billings 3rd, Idaho Falls 4th, and the Glacier Range Riders are in last place in the North Division. When we look at the South, it's Ogden and first. Their magic number is 3, actually 4. Grand Junction, 3 games behind them. NoCo is in 3rd. Boise is in 4th, and the Rocky Mountain Vibes are currently in last place in the South with a half-game worse record than the Glacier Range Riders. 2-0 now after that ball misses there. So let's tell you how that pennant chase is going for the Missoula Paddleheads. Pitch misses. Count is 3-0. Well, currently it's still TBD. Missoula, needing 1 win, is tied 6-6 with Great Falls. The only other team that can clinch the North is Great Falls, and they need to win every single one of the games against Missoula this week, which is a tough task. A 4-pitch walk to Aiden Nagel. A couple of those missed by a lot. Others missed by a little. They all missed, according to the home plate umpire. And Jalen Garcia will have a man on first with 1 out. Right now, you look back at that relay that we saw last inning from McConnell to Broussard and then the throw out at home. Enriquez made a great play on it to tag the runner out. And that right now is a run that is a difference in this ball game, clearly. As we are tied. Nagel over at first. The first pitch, chin music, and just getting his head out of the way of it is Jalen Garcia. Scary situation there, but just counts as a ball. And, man, those of you out there that play baseball, I sometimes don't know how you do it in terms of the absolute insanity it takes to see a hard, round ball flying at your face at sometimes up to 100 miles per hour. That one will miss. Mazzone didn't think it did. 6 straight balls thrown by Isaiah Henry. Action getting pretty serious in the Glacier Range Riders bullpen, and Nick Hogan's going to take a pause to talk with Isaiah Henry as well as Justin Mazzone. I'll tell you the rest of the Pioneer League scoreboard while we talk about that. It is a hot day here. This press box is not fully finished. The AC is not yet in it, and I'm feeling it right now. But I'll put some words together to tell you what the scoreboard looks like. Grand Junction is beating Northern Colorado 10-4 in Western Colorado. Already mentioned the 6-6 score between Missoula and Great Falls in the Electric City. Boise hosting Idaho Falls in a cross-state Idaho matchup. And Boise currently leads the Chuckers 5-4. Ogden leads the Rocky Mountain Vibes 13-6. They will inch ever closer to their golden ticket to the playoffs if they're able to come up with a win. And the other game in the PBL, well, it's this one, 2-2. As that one misses, count is 3-0 for Henry versus Garcia. A 2-run home run equalized this game last inning. And right now, a ball puts a go-ahead run in scoring position for Billings. Swung on. Jalen Garcia, that's the second time today he's had the green light on 3-0. And the second time today with that green light, he's fouled it off. Clearly, he has a lot of trust from this staff, and he's earned it with the numbers that he's put up this year and last year and throughout his career as a baseball player. 3-1, 1 out. Laces that one up the middle, a base hit. McConnell gets to it, so nobody will advance, but a hard hit ground ball up the middle and 2 aboard with 1 out. Jackson Raper 0 for 2, struck out swinging his last time up. This game was tied at the end of the 6th inning. Obviously it's tied. We're in the top of the 7th. That's how we got here. I can tell you the Range Riders all time, that means this season and in franchise history, which is just this season, they're 1-4 when tied after the 6th inning. Skips in the dirt, called ball, count is 1-0. I already told you the Range Riders looking for just the 5th time in franchise history to come from behind and get a win. They have done that against these Billings Mustangs. They did it here on the second game of the first series they played at Flathead Field, June 15th, when a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th over the right field wall equalized the game. Sound similar? Well, if you were around for last inning, you saw that exact same thing, except it was the bottom of the 6th, not the 9th, which means you allow the chance for a response from Billings. And Billings, throughout their entire history in this matchup with Glacier, almost every time they've been able to give a response, they have, the exception being last night. 1-1 pitch, 1 out, runners on first and second, plenty of speed on first with Jalen Garcia. Nagel can boogie from first as well. Jackson Raper would snap his bat in half if possible, as he was very sure that that one missed low. 1-2 now, 1 out. A strikeout would be huge for Isaiah Henry. A base hit could have a good chance to give the Billings Mustangs the lead. 1-2, 1 out. Henry pauses, as I think he got a bug in his face. Either a bug or some sweat. Something going on. He's trying to deal with something on his face, and he's having a quick conversation with the third base umpire, Michael Chuckerman. Took his hat part of the way off, took his glove off, was rubbing his face. But whatever happened, the Glacier Range Riders pitcher seems to be okay, and we'll get back to business. 1-2, 1 out, runners on first and second. 2-2 ball game here in the top of the 7th. The pitch. That one misses low. It'll be 2-2 now. Two, 1 out. Henry sets and fires. Swung on and missed. He blew it by him, and a big strikeout there for out number 2. That means Gabe Wirtz is just going to need to not get out to continue this game, and he struck out twice in the contest already, but last time up he was able to walk. The strikeouts by the Glacier Range Riders pitchers have not been the problem. 11 Ks for the 3 arms we've seen. The problem has been the free passes. 9 walks has led to a myriad of headaches for Nick Hogan and the staff, but headaches they've just been. Rarely have they resulted in runs, but Wirtz could change that here. As the first pitch is swinging, and it's going to get through. Running on contact is Nagel. He gets a late stop sign, as it was a heck of a throw from Dean Miller to keep Nagel at third. He might have been caught at home. I think it was a smart stop sign by our third base coach for Billings, Drew Rossi. The Scranton, Pennsylvania native with a big call there as the first pitch was hit hard and through the hole there between the third baseman and the shortstop. Just goes down as a single. Bases loaded here. Swing and a miss to start it off for Jacob Klein. Jacob Klein last time up got in a double that resulted in the throwout at home that I mentioned earlier this frame. He plastered a ball off the wall, was able to get to third on it because of the throw home. 2 for 3 on the day. He leads the Billings Mustangs in batting average. Coming into this contest, he was hitting .423. That's not a cheap .423. He has over 80 at-bats. As of right now, it's moving up, and even if he doesn't get a hit here, it will still move up. 2 for 3 on the day, but the biggest at-bat of the contest for either side right here. 0-2, 2 outs, bases loaded, 2-2 is the score. Swung on and missed. Isaiah Henry out of the jam. Will stretch. It's 2-2. Don't go anywhere for the bottom of the 7th. It will be Justin Mazzone in. I should note that the third baseman for the Range Riders staying in the contest, as this one's floated up. Shortstop Dennison will make the play. Out number 1 pitch, 1 out here for DePrimo. Back out for his second inning of work after allowing the 2-run home run last time out. The one pinch hitter that I said probably not pinch hitting, or probably not true pinch hitting, coming in and staying in the game. Well, it was this man, Brenton Davis, who is staying in the game. I saw him during BP taking some balls from a shortstop / third base position, and I assume he's just exactly what Brad Stromdahl talked about, trying to find a way. How can I help the team? Where can I fit in? what can I do to find myself some playing time? Brenton Davis adapting himself and saying, yeah, put me at third, let's do it. And he was staying in the game, replacing Brian Williams. He has been the third baseman, has not been called upon other than a couple times the balls have been flown past him. 1-2 is the count now after that swing and a miss. 1 out, base is empty. We will also see Brant Broussard reaching on the catcher's interference. Last time up was Brenton Davis. Brenton Davis out of Raymond, Nebraska. And he plasters that one into right field, and it's a base hit. One aboard with 1 out off the hit from Brenton Davis, who has reached both times he's been up to the plate. This one a little less confusing than the first time, as Brendan Mentz and I can both confidently say that was a base hit, nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. Right now we have a conversation as they threw it over to first. They were trying to trick Davis there. I think they were just trying to hold it with the first baseman, Jackson, and get Davis to lead off the base. And Brant Broussard, man, I feel like I spend every game complimenting him. But he learns from his dad, who was a baseball player at LSU, clearly has that baseball knowledge, and he was just pointing at Jackson, making sure that Brenton Davis knew it, which Davis probably did know. So that one swung on, laced into center field, a base hit. Well, make sure your guy on first doesn't get out, and then first pitch swinging, line it into center field, 2 aboard with 1 out. Ben McConnell. He had a long, heroic, almost at-bat. The last time he was up, he had the bases loaded with 2 outs, and the crowd was cheering him on, and he ended up with a pop-out. And now we have a pitching change. A new hurler will come in for the Billings Mustangs, and he will come in a key situation. A runner on first, a runner on second, 1 out. We'll take a quick break while the new pitcher warms up. Don't go anywhere. We'll tell you about him when we come back. Ben McConnell will see the new pitcher, Bo Bovelin. First pitch will miss outside the lefty-lefty matchup is what Jim Riggleman's going for. 1-0 coming in. Runners on first and second with 1 out. That one is swung and another pop-up. Infield fly should be called, so guaranteed to be out is McConnell. And the second straight time he pops out in the infield, and the stakes are huge for Ryan Cash. Of course, the pitcher, DePrimo, is responsible for the 2 runners on base. Davis at second, who can move well for a catcher. Broussard, plenty of wheels at first. Ryan Cash, a hit machine, batting out of the right-handed batter's box as the switch hitter. 2 outs now, runners on first and second. They'll be running on contact. First pitch swinging, foul ball from Cash. I'm warning you ahead of time. If there is a base hit and possibly a run scored off the bat of Ryan Cash, there will be some sort of money pun. It is inevitable. Count is 0-1, 2 outs. So if you're a Mustangs fan, just so you know. Pitch misses away. Counts 1-1 now, 2 outs. Bovelin, the new pitcher, has seen plenty of action for the Billings Mustangs this year. 6 foot, 195-pound southpaw, Bryant, Arkansas native. He went to the University of Central Oklahoma, where he just finished up school in this past spring. 1-1 coming. Breaking ball misses. Count goes to 2-1. Linscott on deck if Bovelin can't get Cash out. 2-1, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Bovelin, a 4.26 ERA, has 1 start, but this is his 16th total appearance. 2-1 after a long glance to second. Swung on and missed. Tuesday night crowd here trying to get Cash that little bit of juice needed to empty the tank here in the bottom of the 7th. 2-2 is the score, is the count, and the outs are also 2. 2 on for Cash. Foul ball. Cash ain't going to be that hard to slam the door on. He'll see another 2-2. The man at first, Brant Broussard, as well as the man at the plate, both coached by their dad in high school. Their baseball IQ clearly comes across. Cash 0 for 3 tonight. A rare 0 for thus far. Trying to cash in. Stepping off. And a pump fake throw over to second because of those new balk rules. Making sure he doesn't get called for it. 2-2, 2 outs, 2 on. Bovelin versus Cash. Another foul ball from Ryan Cash. And we get deja vu all over again. The crowd trying to get Cash across the line as they did with McConnell just 2 innings ago when he had the bases loaded with 2 outs. Not bases loaded, first and second though. Cash swings, puts it, a dive, and the play is not made. The run will come home. No, it will turn and come around, and it is out at third. Oh my goodness, a base hit is what that will go down as, but what concentration by Dennison to knock that one down, pick it up, and then catch a run around third. That was a little bit too far from Brenton Davis. He's wiping all the turf off himself. That should go down as a base hit and then a throw out over at third because Davis was safe. It's not a fielder's choice over at third. Everybody reached successful, so a tough break there as it was very close as to bases loaded for the number 3 batter, Sam Linscott. Instead, they leave the bases packed. It's still tied. We head to the 8th, 2-2. The first pitch from Austin Steinforth, the new pitcher, is high. Yes, there is a new pitcher out on the mound. It is the 6'9" Austin Steinforth. That's the first thing every road broadcaster mentions about him. But another thing that should be said is he's also a really nice guy. This is a high fly ball, and it'll be the right fielder, Sam Linscott. That'll run up and grab it. Here is the fun fact about Austin Steinforth. Before we even get into the stats on him, his connection to this team doesn't stop with just the fact that he plays for the team. I don't even know what his official title is, but the director of merchandise and tickets and everywhere in between. Basically an assistant general manager to some extent. His name is Leo Kelly, and Leo Kelly was a pitcher at Rochester University. I believe Rochester College. A school called Rochester. I don't know for sure. Yeah, I know that's finicky, and it can mean a different thing because there is a University of Rochester in Rochester, New York. But they were teammates there in Michigan, and that's an NAIA school. And they were not just teammates, they were roommates. And now Leo Kelly, of course, working for the team. Austin Steinforth playing for the team. And just one of those cool things that, you know, you have connections, you have friends in such a foreign place. That was something, you know, we were talking with Coach Tromdahl about with Georgia State. You know, it is a huge risk to come across the country and try and follow the dream and the sport you love. And for Austin Steinforth, probably cool to at least have some contact that he knew before, not just as a friend, not just as a roommate, but as a teammate, and have that connection with. 2-2 is the count, as this one misses, and now it's going to be full for Zach Threlfall. Zach Threlfall, I don't know if he's got an Apple Watch and trying to get his steps in, but he's done a lot of walking today. 3-2, and he's 0 for 0. We're going to give him another walk. Man, if I were Threlfall today, and I mean, this is what he's doing. Just don't take the bat off your shoulder, man. He is getting balls that miss the zone, and that's doing the trick. We have a pinch hitter. It's Jordan Hovey. Jordan Hovey, the left-handed batter, will step in. Omaha, Nebraska native. Threlfall will be on first. I don't think we saw a pinch runner over there. I'm just trying to double check, make sure I see a number that is Threlfall, because this would be the situation where maybe you try a pinch runner as well. On deck is Cruz Taylor if we get there, but the chance for the double play is very realistic as Dennison gets pinch hit for. We'll see if Dennison comes back in and plays shortstop. Hovey is an infielder as well, and I believe we've seen him at the shortstop position. Swing and a miss from Hovey to start it off. Austin Steinforth is not fresh out of college. He did play last year for the Lancaster Barnstormers in the Atlantic League, which is a high-level baseball, as is the Pioneer League. I said Lancaster. I meant the York Revolution, also in the Atlantic League. If you're watching, that's a rivalry. And I apologize. Before that, he played for York and Birmingham Bloomfield in the United Shores Baseball League in suburban Detroit in 2019. And then before that, that's when he was a member of NAIA Rochester, the Warriors in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. 0-2 is the count to Jordan Hovey. Swung on, fouled back. It'll stay 0-2. Hovey on the season has a .298 batting average compared to Dennison's .282 batting average, which is a little bit of an uptick in terms of options right now. .02 will be sky high. First baseman Wofford over, stepping into foul territory. And eventually he will make the grab and then backpedal into first base just to see if he can get a nifty little double play, but Threlfall smart enough to not fall for that. A foul pop out, gives us out number 2. We flip over the lineup card. Cruz Taylor, 2 walks, a strikeout, and a ground out. 0 for 2 tonight. As the Range Riders are out hitting the Billings Mustangs, but no lead to show for it at this point. Top of the 8th, Ralph all over at first. 2 outs in this deadlocked contest. First pitch misses. The bugs, right when the sun sets, tend to come out at this time of year in this place in the Flathead Valley. I have plenty of mosquito bites to show for it, I can tell you. The 1-0. Swung on, carrying out to left field. Backing up is Miller. Makes the grab. That one was hit to the gap, but right in front of the 375 sign in left center field. Miller had enough time to get under it. His home run equalized this game 2 innings ago, and he will see the plate in the next half inning. 3-4-5, Linscott, Wofford, Miller due up. Don't go anywhere. It's 2-2. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Back here we are in the bottom of the 8th. It's a 2-2 ball game, a defensive battle here at Flathead Field. The great thing about sports is you don't know what's going to happen every night. That's the reason I love being in this job, and right now I have absolutely no idea what is to come. It is not pre-planned. This is unscripted, and that is why we get fans to come out to the ballpark. That's the reason why you're watching at home tonight. Bottom of the 8th inning. A July 12th battle between the Mustangs and the Range Riders. First pitch swinging. Foul ball from Sam Linscott. We have a new pitcher for the Billings Mustangs. It's Al Pesto. And I know his name sounds a little saucy, but he is a very, very good player. Has been one of the keys for this Billings Mustang squad, a 1-run record of 4.15 ERA. This is his 16th appearance out of the pen. He's been called upon in a lot of big moments, and clearly Jim Riggleman trusts him here. 0-2, thought about going, and it missed just high. 1 for 3 tonight is Sam Linscott, but he had a hugely important moment when he broke up the perfect game in the 4th inning after the first 11 batters were retired by the starter, Kenny Sorwa. Swing and a miss there. He'll come up empty in this at-bat to lead off the bottom of the 8th. Brody Wofford now up. He was along for the ride on the Dean Miller boom shot. He'll take a walk here as well, but he would also love a boom shot of his own. He had one yesterday of the 2-run variety. This one will not be that. It's fouled up and out of play. Just looked over at Nick Hogan, who's coaching third, and he's in deep conversation with the third base ump over there. Don't know exactly what he is saying. Also don't know if you can see it. You can see the umpire over there on the far left of your screen, that third base ump. Conversation's still going on a little bit, as this one's a strike in there. Crowd disagreeing as they have all night. And Nick Hogan's still talking. Maybe he's just talking about balls and strikes. 0-2. And swung on a foul ball. Heading over there, and it will fall safely to the turf. Gabe Wirtz was charging it pretty hard, but not able to get to it in time. And we'll do 0-2 once more to Brody Wofford. Again, I already plugged it. I posted some highlights from last night as well as the post-game interview with Brody Wofford before this contest. You can go check it out, see what he had to say about his and the team's performance. Swing and a miss there as he comes up empty. Dean Miller. The fans remember what he did last time up. They know the pop in his bat. And I'm sure Al Pesto, pitching on the mound, is well aware of it. Pesto, 6'3", 220 pounds. One of the only physiques that can start to match Dean Miller's at the plate. He is built incredibly solidly. One of the first options for the Glacier Range Riders if we get to a knockout round. Him and Livingston Morris, speaking of the man warming up in the on-deck circle to possibly come on as a pinch hitter, his name is Livingston Morris. First pitch is inside. Called ball. That would mean that Eddie McCabe would no longer be the DH. It would be Livingston Morris that would step in, and we're getting to the point in the ball game where you want guys up that have the highest ability to put one over the fence and essentially win it. Eddie McCabe has a lot of pop in his bat, but when you have a guy like Livingston Morris on the bench, you got to consider that option, and that clearly is what Nick Hogan has done. Pesto went to Southeastern University last year, Savannah, Georgia native, and that one is a called strike. Count is 2-1. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the 8th, 2-2 is the score line. For the Billings Mustangs, 2 runs on 5 hits. They have an error. And on the other side, it's 2 runs on 6 hits for the Range Riders. Called strike, count goes to 2-2. Two outs. Livingston Morris waiting in the on-deck circle. Al Pesto trying to finish this off, give his team one more chance to win it in regulation time. Swung on, dribbled, foul. Dean Miller, affectionately called Dino by his family, his friends, people that know him. And I picked that up as well. Sometimes when I say Dino Miller, I think that you might confuse me as saying Dean, middle name, starts with an O, Miller. But no, it's Dean-O space Miller. And the 2-2 will come in. Swung on. This one carrying out to right field. Backing up is Taylor. And it will be over the wall. Dean Miller. Goodbye, baseball. The Range Riders lead the game. Dean Miller's second bomb of the contest. put the team on your back, Dean. They just threw the hard hat on him, and I encouraged it yesterday, but go to theDailyInterlake.com right now. Look up the article by Fritz Neighbor talking about Dean Miller's career. It has been up and down. It has been affected by injuries and COVID. But now you see Dean Miller really finding a spot in this lineup. As a member of that cleanup squad, him and Brody Wofford doing work by putting the long ball over the fence and looking for the same is Livingston Morris as he comes up empty, swing and a miss on pitch number 1. That one's a called strike. Now it's 0-2 to Livingston Morris. Eddie McCabe finishes his day 0-2 after being pinch hit for. The 0-2 to Livingston Morris, and he comes up empty. A 3-pitch strikeout in the pinch hitting role, but it doesn't matter as much because of what happened right before it. Dean Miller has made this a 3-2 ball game. We will have a huge situation in the top of the 9th. I think it's Justin Coleman coming on for the save. Don't go anywhere. 3-2. The Range Riders need 3 outs. The man to take the mound with a save opportunity and to have to go through the 2, 3, 4 part of the lineup for Billings is Justin Coleman. Coleman, a few weeks ago here against the Great Falls Voyagers, he picked up his first professional save. Since then, he came into an incredibly clutch situation in Great Falls against the Voyagers, where he had the tying run at third base with 1 out, and he forced a ground out to third, in which Eddie McCabe made a great play and a throw home. And then he forced a fly out to center field to end the contest. And right now he has a more manageable situation. He managed that fine. But just 3 outs is all that Justin Coleman needs. First pitch will miss the catcher entirely. Count is 1-0. He played 3 seasons for Bluefield, the Bluefield Rams in the Appalachian Athletic Conference. They're an NAIA school, as well as summer collegiate ball for the Bluefield Ridge Runners in the Appy League. 1-0, skips in the dirt. Now it's 2-0. This first batter of a save opportunity, so crucial. 0-2 is the stat line for Nagel with 2 walks. 2-0, swung on. It's going to be a base hit. The first batter is aboard. Nagel with a single. Tying run is on the base paths, and the pressure already mounting in this 1-run lead for Glacier. not just because of what just happened with the runner getting aboard, but because of the man coming up now. Jalen Garcia, 2 singles for him today, 2 for 4 on the season. He is a man that bleeds Billings through and plays incredibly well, in part because of that. .392 batting average for him coming in. It's only going up. But this is the most important bat of the ballgame for him. Called strike to start off the at-bat. Jalen Garcia, what more can I say about him that I haven't already said? With this being my 5th game calling him, he's bat in the 3 spot every time. He has speed, he has power, he has defensive skills. And he will swing and foul that one back. It is 0-2 for Garcia. Coleman trying to make a huge, huge out here is the Murrysville, Tennessee native. 2 days before the home opener here on June 12th, he turned 26. The 0-2 misses off. Counts now 1-2. The only other player that's guaranteed to see the plate in this inning is Jackson Raper. Of course, we will likely see Wirtz as well, unless we get a double play of some sort. 1-2 coming in to Jalen Garcia. Swing. And I think the home plate umpire said it was a called strike. It was a check swing. It was a check swing, but the home plate umpire is saying called strike. And all Jalen Garcia can do is put the hands on his head and walk off. First pitch is in the zone. A called strike to Jackson Raper. After that strikeout, one out here, runner on first, top of the 9th inning. It's 3-2 in favor of the Glacier Range Riders. Swung on. This one is high. It's a foul ball. Charging over is Linscott, and he will not be able to make the play. That one was too far away from him. It was barely in play, but the count does go to 0-2. It was clear it was going to be foul off the bat, and Linscott just not being able to make up that territory, despite the wheels he has. We are at 3-2 in the top of the 9th. The Range Riders lead. A double play ends it. .2. Called strike 3, and Jackson Raper goes down looking. Justin Coleman, a leadoff base hit he allowed, but he has struck out the number 3 and 4 batters, and Gabe Wirtz is the last chance for the Billings Mustangs. .315 batting average on the season for Wirtz, and he is their leader in home runs. It is not over till it's over, and Justin Coleman knows that. He can sniff the save and the victory for the Range Riders. A win streak could start. Not getting the call on the first pitch there, as that one just misses outside. Count is 1-0. 2 outs. Runner on first is Nagel. Crowd up and awake here, as that one is in the zone. A called strike. Count is 1-1. Everybody's stuck this one out. This game is just over 3 hours right now. Tuesday night, they don't care. Stay a little bit up past your bedtime to see a possible win. 1-1 with 2 outs. Swung on and missed. It is a 1-2 count. There are 2 outs and a runner on first. The Mustangs and Gabe Wirtz are down to their last out. Wirtz 1 for 3 today. Singled his last time up. Crowd is loud on this Tuesday night. The 1-2 will come in. Foul ball will do it again. Smattering of applause through the awkward kind of break after you try and cheer the team across for the final out. But now they're back alive. 1-2, 2 outs, runner on first. Coleman will set and fire. Misses up and away. We go to 2-2. Two outs, runner on first. The pitch from Coleman. Misses high there, and we will go full, and that means Nagel will be moving from first. A payoff pitch, the most important pitch. The crowd just begging for strike three. 3-2, 2 outs. Coleman fires the payoff as the runner goes. Called strike three, and that does it. Justin Coleman, 3 straight strikeouts looking to end the game, and the Tuesday night crowd here at Flathead Field is granted a Range Riders come from behind victory. Early on in this contest, the Billings Mustangs gained control when Kenny Serwa came out for his first professional start and had an absolutely marvelous performance. He retired the first 11 batters before Sam Linscott broke up his no-hitter and his perfect game. And then you turn around, and they still couldn't get it. They still couldn't find it. It wasn't until Serwa left the game in position to win where hits finally started coming. You started seeing some traction. They still weren't getting enough guys on base, but all it took was a Brody Wofford walk and a Dean Miller home run. Next thing you know, it's a tie ball game. In a day that was a bullpen day, which I started this broadcast off talking about how a bullpen day, you kind of look at it and you go, well, it'd be nice to, maybe win a slugfest, but you're not necessarily expecting to turn a bullpen day into a pitcher's duel. 3 innings of good work, just 2 hits allowed in those 3 innings, but the one run was earned. 5 strikeouts and 4 walks for him. That was one big knock on his tally. And then he flipped it over to the newbie, Quinton Longree, who threw 2 really good innings, did not allow a hit, did walk 2. He made a sparkling debut in his first appearance at Flathead Field. Isaiah Henry took it for 2 innings, and he got out of some jams. 1 run did come across in him, but you look back at the key play of his outing. It was in the first inning that he pitched, where it was a beautiful Ben McConnell, Brant Broussard, tagged by Ramon Enriquez, relay that was able to get a huge throw out at the plate that kept it at 2 runs. Next thing you know, it was 2-2 because of a Dean Miller home run. Austin Steinfort pitched a solid inning, just seeing 4 batters, and Justin Coleman did the same. Steinfort will pick up the win. Coleman will pick up the loss. The winning run, and really the player of the game, because you can give it to the pitching staff as a whole, but in terms of individual players, it has to be Dean Miller. What a performance from the former Boston Red Sox draft pick. His career has taken him so many places around this country. He grew up wanting to go to school. His plan was to go to the junior college in Riverside, then play at UC Riverside. He did exactly that. And then he went out of college and played minor league affiliated ball. Well, life has curved him in ultimate ways that has led him to the ballpark here in northwestern Montana to produce the way he has produced for the Glacier Range Riders throughout the season, but especially tonight. He has notched his name into the lore of this field. The final score, 3-2. Just 7 hits, no errors for the Range Riders to get those 3 runs. On the other side, Billings had 1 error. That's what the catcher's interference goes down as. 2 runs on 6 hits. It wasn't an overwhelming performance by any means, but it's enough for a win streak for the Glacier Range Riders. One more time, I will give you the winning pitcher After throwing 1 inning, no earned run, no strikeouts, and a walk, it's Austin Steinfort. The losing pitcher is Al Pesto after giving up that solo home run to Dean Miller. He did strike out the side, though, and a tough loss for him to deal with. And Justin Coleman picks up the save. 3 strikeouts for him. Other than that leadoff base hit, 3 backwards Ks don't go bad on the mantle. That is the final score from Flathead Field. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7:05, either on the stream or at the field. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, also 7:05, and we hope to see you at the ballpark for those as well. Or you can check it out. Plenty of kids, especially in the ballpark, plan on being here at Sunday at 3:05 on what will be a beautiful, beautiful weekend here at Flathead Field. My name is Scott Gladstone. Thanks so much for tuning in to this broadcast. Until next time, please have a safe rest of your night. Stay safe out there. Thank you.